Chapter 74. The phone rang once, twice, thrice, until it was hung up. There was no answer. F***ck, Lu Shuang was furious and smashed the phone angrily. But now that Baiya was in danger, she couldn't be swayed by her emotions. Lu Shuang picked up the phone from the ground again. Luckily, the phone wasn't broken. She called Gu Lingqing again, but there was still no answer. Lu Shuang was so anxious that he almost cried. Gu Lingqing, answer the phone. I'm waiting for you to save me. Lu Shuang said to himself. Unfortunately, Gu Lingqing still didn't answer the phone. When Lu Shuang really wanted to smash the phone again, Gu Lingqing called back. Leader Gu, you finally answered the phone. I want to die. Lu Shuang said with a crying voice. Get to the point. I'm in a meeting. Gu Lingqing said coldly. Okay. Leader Gu, please save Baiya. She was taken away by Su Jiran. She has never slept with Su Jiran. She lied to you. Besides, it's all my fault that she can't be with you. Su Jiran took an indecent video of me. Su Jiran used this to threaten Baiya. So, Baiya can't get a divorce. She likes you, I promise. She just doesn't want to affect your career, so she said those cruel words on purpose. Lu Shuang told the truth. Gu Lingqing frowned, and his eyes were unfathomable. He knew that Baiya must have a reason. I'll deal with it. That's all for now. Gu Lingqing folded his arms and looked at the time. You must deal with it immediately. They have been gone for several minutes. I'm afraid it's too late. Lu Shuang said anxiously. I see. Gu Lingqing hung up the phone, thought for a while, and called the director of the City A police department. Hello, I'm from the military. Su Jiran, the deputy director of the health bureau, is involved in a major case. We need him to cooperate with the investigation. Locate his phone immediately and arrest him in 10 minutes. This involves military secrets. You must remain silent. Our lieutenant colonel will come over to handle it. Yes, we will cooperate with the military, the director promised. On the road Baiya looked out of the window. The rain was still very heavy, slapping against the window. The scenery outside was somewhat blurry, just like her mind. It had been ravaged like a lily in a storm, teetering on the verge of collapse. Su Jiran looked at her. Her face was still swollen. He knew very well how much strength he had exerted in his slap. But how arrogant was he to apologize? It was impossible for him to say that. Move back here. I will spend the night at your place every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. Su Jiran said as if he was giving alms. Baiya sarcastically twitched the corner of her mouth, drew circles on the window with her snow-white fingers, and said coldly, What about the other 2, 4, 6, and 7? You can't be too greedy. I've always been greedy. You know that. I want my man to be loyal to me alone. Baiya said calmly. Why do you want a man to be loyal to you alone? How many men don't go out to play nowadays? Women just turn a blind eye to it and live a relaxed life. Su Jiran reminded her. So? Baiya squinted at him. We have different goals, so we can't work together. Su Jiran's eyes became fierce. He sneered and said sarcastically, In my eyes, you are not qualified to work with me. Really? Baiya was very calm. She leaned against the seat and pulled the seatbelt. She looked at the strong wind outside, but her heart became calmer. Neither of them spoke. It was eerily quiet in the car. If you feel lonely, I agree to let you give birth to a child for me. I will give you 100,000 yuan every month. You can do your job as a doctor if you want. It doesn't matter if you don't want to, Su Jiran said. Bai Ye did not say anything. Su Jiran furrowed his eyebrows. Did you hear that? Bai Ye turned sideways and faced Su Jiran. I've been thinking about it. My status is not as good as Xing Jinyan's, and my looks are not as good as Xing Jinyan's. Xing Jinyan loves you so much. Why don't you divorce him? Su Jiran, have you fallen in love with me? Su Jiran smiled. His eyes seemed to be enchanted by a thin layer of gauze. You think too much. Fall in love with you? How is that possible? Then why don't you divorce him? Gu Lingqing likes you so much. I should use you as bait to make him do something wrong so that I can pull him down from his high horse, right? Su Jiran said with a chuckle. It seemed to be true and false. Bai Ye could not tell at all. If what he said was true, all the more she should not be involved with Gu Lingqing. Su Jiran stopped the car. Bai Ye looked ahead. There was a roadblock on the road. A few police cars were parked there. A police officer came over and knocked on the window. Su Jiran lowered the window. The police officer had an ID. Su Jiran, you're involved in an unusual case. Please come with us. Me? Su Jiran paused for 3 seconds and smiled. Did the military call you to do this? We don't know. We're just following orders. Come out. The police officer opened the door without hesitation. Very good, ha ha ha, very good. Su Jiran looked at Bai Ye and blinked his right eye. He was not depressed at all because he was caught. On the contrary, he was in a good mood. Bai Ye was even more worried. Would Su Jiran really use her as bait? No, Su Jiran would not guess that she knew Gu Lingqing. However, who could say for sure when it came to politics? Maybe it was because of her relationship with Gu Lingqing that Su Jiran set her up. Bai Ye's phone rang. She saw that it was Gu Lingqing calling. She hesitated and did not answer it. Her phone immediately rang. It was Gu Lingqing. I know you're in the car. Answer the phone in 1 minute or I'll come in and look for you. Bai Ye looked at Gu Lingqing's domineering tone. When he called again, she answered it. Gu Lingqing was silent. He was obviously angry. After a while, he said, Are you okay? Are you hurt? Hearing Gu Lingqing's voice, Bai Ye's heart softened a little. She had read a magazine before. The magazine said that a good love was when both parties or one of them grew up in a sunny place. She and Gu Lingqing were obviously not like that. I'm fine. I'm not hurt. Let Su Jiran go. I want to solve my own problems, Bai Ye said gently. Gu Lingqing really did not like her. He always pushed her away. Must you alienate me like this? Gu Lingqing asked coldly. If you think so, then so be it, Bai Ye said and hung up the phone. Gu Lingqing got out of the car. He did not open an umbrella and walked in the rain. Lieutenant Colonel Shang immediately opened the black umbrella and supported Gu Lingqing. Half of his shoulder was drenched in the rain. Water dripped from his hair and he was shrouded in the gloomy aura of the rain. He opened the door of Bai Ye's car and stared at Bai Ye, who was sitting in the passenger seat. Chapter 75. Bai Ye hesitated and looked at the road surveillance camera. What was the point of leaving with Gu Lingqing now? Maybe the surveillance camera would become the evidence of hurting Gu Lingqing. She didn't want that. I have something to do. Bai Ye rejected him politely. Gu Lingqing's cold eyes narrowed and he sneered. He was the first person who dared to reject him. He carried her up forcefully. Gu Lingqing, what are you doing? Put me down, others will see you like this, Bai Ye said worriedly. What did you see? What are you worried about? Tell me, tell me everything. Why do you keep it in your heart? His face was cold and he was angry. I am a married woman, Baiya said cruelly. Shut up, Gu Lingqing ordered. I am someone else's wife. It's impossible for me and Su Jiran to get a divorce. Even if I shut up, I can't change this fact. Don't you feel wronged? You are high up and powerful, but you are willing to be an assistant minister, Baiya said anxiously. Gu Lingqing threw her on the back seat. Say it, continue. Say it to your heart's content. Don't mention it to me in the future. It's not that these things don't exist if I don't mention it. Deceiving yourself is just deceiving others and yourself. I think Chief Gu should be smart. He knows who he shouldn't touch and who he shouldn't provoke. He should know better than me, Baiya said bluntly. The way he addressed him as chief and the way he shouldn't touch him made his eyes red and his anger kept rising. I've already touched him. What do you think I should do? Gu Lingqing looked at him sharply. His jaw was tight and he got on the back seat. As soon as he got on the car, the air pressure suddenly became much lower and the air became oppressive. Then you should stop before going too far. It's not like you should continue doing something wrong, but you should correct it, right? Baiya wanted to get out of the car. She couldn't stay in the same car as him, so she opened the door beside her. Gu Lingqing's pupils constricted. She held her arms and said coldly, I'm sorry. I'm not going to correct the mistake. Even if it's wrong, I'll treat it as right and go on. You're mine. Was he confessing? Baiya was shocked. Before she could react, he kissed her lips. She knew it was wrong and stepped back. He pressed the back of her head and kissed her even hotter. Baiya had nowhere to retreat, so she pushed his shoulder hard. If you can't push it away, hit it. He remained motionless. Lieutenant Colonel Xiang was anxious. Madam Bai, just give in to our leader. He won't mistreat you. He was in the middle of a meeting and there was something important. When he heard that something had happened to you, he rushed over immediately. Baiya knew that Gu Lingqing treated her well. But the better he was, the more she couldn't hurt him. They had only known each other for less than a month. He could pull away and she didn't have to fall too deeply into it. It was just a one-night stand. She bit his tongue that had ravaged her mouth. Gu Lingqing didn't step back. He stared at her. Baiya tasted his sweet blood and her heart softened. She didn't bite him anymore and let go. He deepened the kiss. He didn't let her step back. He didn't even give her time to breathe. He made her swallow his blood. It entered her stomach and blended into her blood. His kiss was too forceful and overbearing. She really couldn't breathe. Her limbs were weak and she couldn't resist. Only then did he slowly soften. Lieutenant Colonel Xiang closed the door for them and asked the soldiers to get out of the car. He lowered the window and closed the door. With Gu Lingqing's car as the center, it spread out for at least 100 meters. Baiya wanted to die. Even if they didn't do anything, other people would imagine it. He and Lieutenant Colonel Xiang had a tacit understanding. Lieutenant Colonel Xiang asked the soldiers to leave. He closed the window and the door. His actions were much wilder. He pressed Baiya on the car seat. In the narrow space, the two of them were very close. While he was kissing her, he had already pulled the K down inside her. As soon as Baiya could speak, she said, Gu Lingqing, we can't do this. He had completely lost his mind. His eyes were bloodshot. The memories from 3 years ago flowed through his mind. If he had taken her away from her wedding, she wouldn't have married Su Jiran. She would have been his long ago. Can you think carefully before you answer? Gu Lingqing said angrily. No. Baiya was very determined. But her determination didn't work on him at all. Baiya exclaimed. She felt his storm-like anger. She didn't like the current Gu Lingqing. She wanted to break free, but she fell deeper into the whirlpool. You can't do this. Baya frowned and her eyes were red. Can't do what? He grabbed her waist, and his temples were throbbing. Are we not suitable for each other? Look, we're very suitable, aren't we? Baya turned her face away. If it was 3 years ago, when she wasn't married yet, she would have risked her life. Even if Gu Lingqing's family didn't agree, she would accompany him to walk through hell. But now it was different from 3 years ago. She wasn't even qualified to accompany him to walk through hell. Gu Lingqing clamped her chin and made her face him. A dark pain flowed through his eyes. Baya, I like you. Can't you feel it? Waves of excitement flowed through Baya's heart. His confession, unintentionally, was poison. It could erode all her reason and resistance. Woo woo woo. Baya cried. She didn't know whether she was sad, touched, or desperate. Lu Shuang has already told me to leave this matter to me. I will solve it. Don't push me away. I don't care about your identity, your past, or your status. I only care about your feelings. He lowered his head. They were very intimate. His kiss fell on her rosy lips. Baya breathed softly and closed her eyes. His kiss moved from her eyes, to the bridge of her nose, and then to her lips. Think of a way to delete the surveillance cameras here, Baya said worriedly. It has been done. Gu Lingqing said in a low voice and held the back of her neck. Maybe because it was comfortable, his eyes gradually softened. Lu Shuang said that you broke up with me because you didn't want to implicate me, right? Baya didn't say anything. She had already felt his strong presence. She was afraid of a reaction, but the reaction was strong. If that's the case, you don't have to worry. My status is not something that Su Jiran, the director of the Sanitary Bureau, can shake. Gu Lingqing said with certainty. Baya couldn't hear what he was saying. She clenched his arm tightly, and her face was blushing. She couldn't think clearly now, and she didn't want to think clearly. Gu Lingqing leaned over and kissed her lips again. In a daze, she remembered something. It seemed that she hadn't taken the medicine. Chapter 76. Gu Lingqing sent Baya back to Lu Shuang's place. Seeing Baya come back, Lu Shuang hurried to greet her. He touched his forehead, chest, and shoulders with his fingers and said happily, "Thank God. Gu Lingqing brought you back. I was really worried that something bad would happen to you." Baya stared at Lu Shuang. She knew that Lu Shuang meant well, but she didn't want to get Gu Lingqing involved. Shuang, Su Jiran was taken away by the police. He won't stay there forever. Gu Lingqing can save me for a while, but he can't save me forever. Baya said rationally. I don't care. Instead of worrying about it, let the storm come fiercely. It won't do Su Jiran any good if he explodes. If he offends Shiniyan, he won't have a good life in the future. Let's just destroy each other. Lu Shuang said impulsively. Don't be so irrational. If you're irrational, you'll only be the unlucky one. Baya sighed. What else can I do? Watch you be violated by that scumbag Su Jiran. Lu Shuang said angrily. Baya looked out of the window. The storm was still heavy. The rain fell on the ground and made splashes. The whole city A was shrouded in the misty rain. It was hazy and confusing. I've thought about it for a long time. I have an idea. Baya looked at the night and said in a deep voice. What is it? Tell me quickly. I'll do it. Lu Shuang moved Baya's body and said anxiously. Su Jiran has your video as a blackmail. What if I also have his blackmail? Baya asked back. He's so cunning. He doesn't like you and won't tell you anything. You've just met his parents today. You can imagine how defensive Sujiran is. He won't tell you his secret. Lu Shuang said with certainty. Not that. I'm talking about his relationship with Xing Jinyan. They are the disgusting relationship between a sugar daddy and a slave girl. I get angry whenever I mention it. Didn't you see how shameless Xing Jinyan is? He did that with Su Jiran in the wild. I feel like vomiting. Lu Shuang said angrily. So, it's a good thing that Su Jiran doesn't keep a low profile. He is a senior official. He's a senior official. He is a senior official. He is a senior official. He is a senior official. It's not good for him. Maybe we can drag him down from his position, Baya thought. You also said that he is a senior official. That you or something has disappeared. They don't dare to provoke Su Jiran. But Xing Jinyan dares to provoke him. Xing Jinyan's father is the governor. In terms of power, he is 2 ranks higher than Su Jiran. Now that Xing Jinyan is with Su Jiran, she probably wants me to divorce Su Jiran. So, she will cooperate with us to get the evidence, Baya guessed. Xing Jinyan is a socialite. Her father is the governor. I don't think she will be willing to expose herself as a mistress. They are all selfish, Lu Shuang said worriedly. How will we know if we don't try? I can still negotiate with her. Baya had already made up her mind. She did not want to sit still and wait. She called Xing Jinyan. Xing Jinyan picked up the call. You actually called me. Xing Jinyan said in a strange tone. Su Jiran said he doesn't want a divorce. He even used my friend's secret to threaten me. You should know what it is. Baya went straight to the point. Xing Jinyan's gaze turned sinister. What do you mean? Did you call to show off? I don't need to. I just called to tell you that we are on the same boat now. We have a common goal, and that is to get Su Jiran to divorce, Baya said calmly. I'm sorry, but I don't want the man that Baya doesn't want. I don't need to eat your leftovers, Xing Jinyan said angrily. Are you sure you don't want him? Do you know Su Changhao? Baya asked. What's wrong, Chief of the Air Force? Don't tell me you have hooked up with him. Xing Jinyan said sarcastically. He is Su Jiran's cousin. You should know Su Jiran's background. He is now the Deputy Director of the Ministry of Health, and he might become the director next year. In another 2 years, he will be the mayor. According to his background, his position will be higher than your father's in less than 10 years. Do you really want to give up? Baya said with a smile. Then why don't you want him? Xing Jinyan frowned. Because he likes you, not me. Why should I want a man who doesn't love me? 10 years later, I will be 34. If I get kicked by him at that time, wouldn't I have wasted 10 years of my youth? Then I will wait for his divorce 10 years later. Xing Jinyan said proudly. Don't forget that I will be 34 in 10 years, and you will be 34 in 10 years. Can you guarantee that Su Jiran will still love you? Can you guarantee that there won't be a girl who is more beautiful and younger than you? Baya spared no effort to provoke him. Xing Jinyan squinted his eyes and hesitated for a while. He lowered his voice and asked, What do you want? Help me get the video of Lu Shuang, and I will hire a lawyer to handle the divorce. I will definitely be able to get a divorce, Baya said. Su Jiran made a few copies of the video. Xing Jinyan regretted it the moment she said it. She should have only given 1 copy to Baya and lied to Baya to get a divorce. If Baya asked for a divorce and Su Jiran exposed the video, it would be useless no matter how many copies she had. Baya would definitely be more determined to get a divorce. She made a slip of the tongue and wanted to bite off her tongue. Baya also knew that Su Jiran would prepare a few copies. There's another way. I have the evidence of you and Su Jiran having an affair. You want to set me up? Su Jiran hasn't gotten a divorce yet, and I won't have a legitimate reason to marry him. My reputation will be ruined, Xing Jinyan said angrily. You and Su Jiran were so brazen in the villa by the sea. Do you think your reputation isn't ruined now? Except, those people don't. I just want to expose you, Baya said coldly. That's why I can't give you the evidence. How would I know if you want to divorce me or frame me? Xing Jinyan said defensively. Don't worry. I got the evidence of you and Su Jiran just to threaten Su Jiran not to release Lu Shuang's video. I will only treasure the recording of you and Su Jiran. As for you, you can get Lu Shuang's video and copy it. If I release the video of you and Su Jiran to the public, you can also release the video of Lu Shuang. I didn't divorce because I wanted Lu Shuang's video. Do you think I would do that? Baya analyzed rationally. Xing Jinyan was silent. 15 seconds later. She asked in a deep voice, are you really willing to divorce? Do I have a reason to lie to you? Baya asked. Okay, deal. I will give you the video as soon as possible, but please divorce as soon as possible. Xing Jinyan made up her mind. She couldn't trap the wolf without sacrificing the child. Baya also raised the corner of her mouth slightly. Chapter 77. Baya hung up the phone. Lu Shuang asked anxiously, she agreed. Baya nodded. She agreed. There's no harm in it for her. She'll agree. That's great. Now we just have to wait for her to get the evidence. Then you can divorce Su Jiran. I'll be waiting to attend your wedding with Gu Lingqing. Lu Shuang was happy for Baya. Baya didn't say anything. She walked to the window and looked outside. The rain was still pitter-pattering, just like her current mood. *2:00 in the morning. Su Jiran walked out of the police station. Xiong Dani was wearing a long black dress and a hat. The gauze on the hat covered her face. What's going on? I called their director and said that the military arrested you. Why did the military arrest you? Xiong Dani asked anxiously. Su Jiran curled the corner of his mouth and looked ahead coldly. Since Gu Lingqing wants to play, I'll play with him. Why does Gu Lingqing want to play with you? Xiong Dani widened her eyes anxiously. The thing between him and Baya is true, isn't it? I'll take care of it. You don't have to worry about it, Su Jiran said firmly. How can I not care? Even the president is afraid of the power of the Gu family. Don't provoke him anymore. If he wants Baya, do him a favor and give Baya to him. Anyway, that girl has to be dirty. Don't forget that she was raped 3 years ago, Xiong Dani said angrily. She said angrily. I can give up Baya, but I can't let others take him away. They are two different things. The president is afraid of the Gu family, but I'm not, Su Jiran said arrogantly. Jiaran, I'm worried about you. Please don't do anything that will make me worried, for the sake of your father's soul in heaven, Xiong Dani pleaded. I can't lose my backbone. I know what to do. It's late, go back and rest. If you don't rest, you're going to get old. Su Jiran said with an evil smile. Jiaran. Xiong Dani still wanted to say something. Su Jiran smiled and put his arm around her shoulders. All right, my great beauty, I'll stay in the dark. I won't fight with him in the open, okay? Leave as soon as possible. Xing Batian is still waiting for you to approach him. Xiong Dani reminded. Su Jiran's eyes darkened, and darkness flowed through his eyes. I'll send you back first. It's okay, someone will send me back. Go back and rest. You don't care about yourself, but I do, Xiongdani said helplessly, frowning. She really didn't want Baya to harm her son. Xing Jinyan pounced into Su Jiran's arms the moment he got home. Jiaran, I thought you weren't coming back today. I've been waiting for you for so long. Su Jiran wasn't in a good mood, so he hugged Xing Jinyan's waist. Xing Jinyan wasn't wearing any clothes, and she was as enchanting as a water snake. Stop fooling around. I'm a little tired. I'm going to take a shower, Su Jiran said gently. I'll run the water for you and help you take a shower, Xing Jinyan said coquettishly. She pushed open the bathroom door, turned on the light, and ran the water. Su Jiran tore off his tie, and Baya's image flashed through his mind. He squinted his eyes and sneered. His eyes were full of desire. He pushed open the bathroom door and entered. The bathroom was filled with steam, and it was foggy, as if it was made of gauze. Xing Jinyan stood up from the bathtub. There was a lot of foam on her body, and it covered her important parts, which made it even more tempting. Su Jiran stared at the enchanting Xing Jinyan, his gaze deep. He was thinking that Xing Jinyan looked quite similar to Baya, but their auras were completely different. Xing Jinyan looked like a fairy, fresh and refined. In reality, when she was overseas, everyone had sex with her. How messy was it? The word messy wasn't an exaggeration to describe her. Baya, on the other hand, looked calm and indifferent. Because of the wound in her heart, she was more cautious and guarded than ordinary people. She wouldn't easily accept someone who walked into her heart. Once someone walked into her heart, she would give everything she had, including her life. For example, Lu Shuang's existence with Baya was a case in point. For the past 3 years, he had given her a marriage in name only. He had fooled around outside, but she had been consistent. He didn't worry about her. Sometimes, he pitied her, but most of the time, he hated her. He hated that she had been raped. He had only planned the kidnapping, but she had lost her first time. He also hated that she was so beautiful, so cold, so arrogant, so decisive. If it wasn't for the hatred in his heart, would he have fallen in love with Baya? Jiran, I've filled the tub for you, Xing Jinyan said coquettishly. Su Jiran was frustrated. He stepped into the bathtub, and Xing Jinyan took the initiative to kiss him. The two of them were entangled in the bathroom. However, he wasn't in the zone. He didn't know why, but he felt a little bored. In the end, it was Xing Jinyan who said it. Xing Jinyan smiled seductively and looked at the top of the bathtub. There was a pinhole camera that she had placed in it. Baya would soon see the love between her and Su Jiran. She couldn't wait to show it to Baya. Anyway, Baya only dared to keep it, she wouldn't dare to put it online. Jiran, do you love me? Xing Jinyan wrapped her arms around the back of Su Jiran's neck. Of course. I love you too. Divorce Baya, then we can be together openly, Xing Jinyan said with a smile. Su Jiran hugged Xing Jinyan's waist. He didn't say a word, but kissed her fiercely. Be good, I'm tired. Sleep with me for a while. In the middle of the night, Baya woke up. When she woke up, the pillow was already wet. She dreamed of her childhood. This dream reminded her of when she was young. Ever since she was sensible, she had seen her mother wash her face with tears all day long. Her mother's mental state was very bad at that time, and she often hit her. After that, her mother got divorced and was chased out of the Xing family in despair. They lived in a rented place, and life became more and more difficult. One day, her mother put sleeping pills in the milk for her, and she fell asleep after drinking it. Her mother filled the bathtub with water, put her in the bathtub, and cut her wrists. Her mother also cut her wrists, and lay in the bathtub with her. Perhaps her mother still couldn't bear to let her go, she didn't cut deeply. She woke up and walked outside. But she didn't know where to go. Who should she look for? Without her mother, how was she going to live in the future? She went back to the bathtub and hugged her unconscious mother. After that, she didn't know who saved her. Her mother was locked up in a mental hospital, and she stayed in an orphanage for 10 years. After 10 years, her mother was released from the mental hospital. She brought her back and started to take care of her. She knew that her mother treated her well, but her mother was very bitter. She couldn't afford to go to university, and her mother knelt on the ground. Chapter 78. Her personality had always been cold. She didn't trust people easily and she didn't get close to people easily. Her heart was sometimes so hard that it was almost heartless. But when it was soft, it was also unusually soft. She could give up anything for the people she cared about. Her fate in this life was to meet Souljourney, a person who destroyed her light. When she first met Souljourney, he was very good to her. He gave her everything she wanted, helped her arrange a job and treated her mother's illness. At that time, she really felt that she was the happiest person in the world. She used to wonder how she could get Souljourney's love. After all, apart from being young, beautiful and smart, she was poor and had a crazy mother. But when she first met love, she lost her mind and threw herself into it wholeheartedly. Until Souljourney's lover kidnapped her. She also knew that it was Souljourney who deliberately arranged it. She watched Souljourney do it with his lover. She was in so much pain that she couldn't breathe. That feeling was worse than death. On that day of despair, she was raped. She forced Souljourney to get married. Rather than saying that she was forced, perhaps Souljourney had already prepared hell for her. She jumped into the hell as he wished. She didn't dare to believe in love. If there was no love, she wouldn't have been hurt so badly. Her mother and herself, weren't they examples? Xiao Bai, what's wrong? Lu Shuang heard Bai Ye's crying, pushed the door open and came in. Nothing, I just had a nightmare, Bai Ye said, sobbing. She didn't want Lu Shuang to worry, so she shrunk into the quilt. I'll stay with you. Lu Shuang lifted the quilt, lay behind Bai Ye and hugged Bai Ye. Bai Ye's tears broke the dam. She didn't have nothing, she still had friends. Lu Shuang could feel Bai Ye's body trembling. She was upset and her eyes reddened. Xiao Bai, I'm sorry. It's all my fault. Bai Ye shook his head and turned around to look at Lu Shuang. It's none of your business. I was just thinking about my past. It will be better in the future. After the divorce, you can be with Gu Lingqing, Lu Shuang comforted her. Lu Shuang, if you really care about me, don't matchmake me with Gu Lingqing, Bai Ye said seriously. Why? I feel that he is good in all aspects. If you marry him, your life will be much better. Lu Shuang said puzzledly. My mother was a beauty when she was young. She was very, very beautiful. In ancient poetry, a single glance could cause a city to fall in love with someone like my mother. She was an orphan, but she was very smart. When she was young, she became a nanny for a rich family and made the rich family's young master fall in love with her. She succeeded and became a mistress. However, as the rich family's young master's status got higher and higher, these became the obstacles between them. My mother loved the rich family's young master very much. The rich family's young master had his own dream. His dream was already a career. My mother was panicking. She had no status, no background, no connections. She could only use her own love to restrain herself. Once, twice, thrice. She won, but how many times could she win? The rich family's young master met a woman who was more suitable for him. That woman and the rich young master were from the same family. They had the same dream, revenge. More importantly, that woman had background and power. She could help the rich young master reach a higher level. So, in the end, the rich family's young master betrayed their love and became a cruel murderer, Baiya said quietly with tears flowing down her face. People are different. I don't think Gu Lingqing is that kind of person, Lu Shuang expressed. I believe that the rich family's young master loved my mother. However, he wouldn't ignore his family's opposition and marry my mother. However, impulsive love can't make a lifelong life. Gu Lingqing and I are nothing. We've only known each other for more than a month. The faster the passion comes, the faster it disappears. I don't want a passionate love. I want a peaceful life. At least, I won't hurt my heart, Baiya said rationally and sniffled. Lu Shuang was silent. She didn't know what to say. Baiya had never said these things to Baiya in the past. No one knew how many things Baiya hid in her heart and how much pain she had digested alone. I know. No matter what decision you make, I will support it. From now on, I won't make decisions on my own. I'm sorry, Xiaobai, Lu Shuang said seriously. I will never blame you. I know you did it for me. Baiya smiled. The pear blossoms on the tree were pale but beautiful. Lu Shuang took a deep breath. She felt that Xiaobai's analysis was right. She just thought that Gu Lingqing was good, but she didn't think so much about her background. Now she thought about it. The more glory she enjoyed, the more slander and hurt she had to go through. How many people would be able to withstand the damage? Overnight, she seemed to have grown a lot and learned a lot from Baiya. When it was almost dawn, the rain finally stopped. Baiya and Lu Shuang also fell asleep until Baiya's alarm clock woke her up. She had a bad headache and a serious lack of sleep. But she still had to go to work. Baiya turned off the alarm clock and looked at Lu Shuang, who was still sleeping soundly. She got up from the bed. She brushed her teeth, washed her face, went to the kitchen to cook porridge and fried 2 eggs. She also went out to buy 2 steamers of soup dumplings and went back. Lu Shuang also got up from the room and scratched his messy hair. What time is it? 7:30, just in time for breakfast. Let's go to work together after breakfast. Baiya said with a smile. Her tone was very gentle, as if the pain of last night had not happened. Xiaobai, you are so nice. I love you so much. Don't get married for the rest of your life. Just be with me. Lu Shuang said with a smile. Go brush your teeth and hair. She put the soup dumplings on the table and went to the kitchen to get porridge. Her phone rang. She saw that it was Xing Jinyan and picked it up. Baiya, I have done what you wanted. I have sent it to your email. Check and accept it. I hope you won't disappoint me and get a divorce soon. Xing Jinyan said proudly. Baiya put the porridge on the table and turned on the computer. She saw the video that Xing Jinyan had sent. Xing Jinyan was more careful. Her face and the important parts of her body were mosaic. Su Jiran, on the other hand, was very clear, and so was his dialogue. 3 years ago, when she saw such a video and heard such dialogue, she would still feel sad and indignant. Now, she just felt relieved. She had completely given up on Su Jiran. She did not care at all, nor did she feel any heartache. Chapter 79. Baiya and Lu Shuang went to the hospital. As soon as they got out of the elevator, they heard the nurses gossiping. The deputy director of the sanitary bureau is such a scumbag. So, handsome men are not good. He uses his power and looks to fool around with women everywhere. It's really hateful, Nurse said. I heard that he was married in secret. How miserable would it be to be his wife? It's so stressful to wear a green hat, Nurse B said. I don't know what's wrong with the women nowadays. There was a celebrity on the internet who married a famous beauty. In the end, he had sex with many young models. He even said that he hunted Y. It's really disgusting. The key is that the female star still doesn't want a divorce. It's so infuriating, Nurse said. Hey, what are you talking about? Lu Shuang asked with a smile. Let's hear it. There's no such thing as too much gossip. Everyone, let's talk. Dr. Lu, you haven't gone online yet. It's very popular on the internet now. The deputy director of the sanitary bureau came to see the VIP pregnant woman. Maybe the pregnant woman's belly was also caused by him, Nurse said excitedly. What's wrong with him? I can't even sleep. I haven't even had time to go online. I seem to have missed out on a few 100 million. Lu Shuang did not go to the office. He pulled Baiya to listen together. What's the name of that scumbag? Su Jiran. Yes, that's the name. A lot of things about him have been exposed on the internet. He changes women every 2 or 3 days. He has changed more than 30 women in 3 years, Nurse gossiped. More than 30. Lu Shuang looked at Baiya in shock. Baiya was very calm. It was not a big deal. There was no change in her expression. Yes, I guess the Discipline Inspection Commission will be looking for him. A person like him has seriously violated the discipline. He will probably step down, Nurse said. Dr. Lu, you can go online to see. The comments on the internet are much more interesting than what we said. After all, we don't know this director Su, but a lot of people on the internet do. They even broke the news and that photo. You should go take a look, Nurse B said. Okay, I got it. Lu Shuang dragged Baiya away. Who dares to touch Su Jiran? I think it's Gu Lingqing. Do you believe me? As soon as Lu Shuang said that, he realized that he had said something wrong. She shouldn't have talked about Gu Lingqing in front of Baiya. She quickly looked at Baiya's face. Baiya had already calmed down. Lu Shuang followed Baiya to Baiya's office. She quickly turned on her phone to read the gossip. This Gu Lingqing is really awesome. He has thrown out so much evidence. I feel like we have done it in vain, Lu Shuang said excitedly. Realizing that she had said too much, she slapped herself and looked at Baiya apologetically. I'm sorry. It's okay, Baiya said softly. She sat on her seat and checked today's work schedule. With all the evidence exposed, you and Su Jiran will definitely divorce, right? Lu Shuang said expectantly. I don't know, but I think the possibility is quite high. I will negotiate with Su Jiran later. As soon as Baiya said that, her phone rang. She saw that it was Su Jiran's call. She knew that he would call her, so she answered. Is it Gu Lingqing who did the things on the internet? Su Jiran asked with a smile, as if these things didn't affect him much. I don't know, Baiya replied directly. Let's meet at noon. Hee, why do I feel that it's rare for you to take the initiative to meet him? Su Jiran teased. He walked to the health bureau and saw the military car. A malicious look appeared in his eyes. Do you want to meet him? Baiya asked back. I'll contact you later. Su Jiran hung up the phone and saw Lieutenant Colonel Shang getting out of the car, followed by 6 soldiers. Director Su, please get in the car, Lieutenant Colonel Shang said. His words were polite and his expression was professional. He didn't allow Su Jiran to refuse. Su Jiran raised the corner of his mouth, shrugged, and got in the car. He saw Gu Lingqing, who was as cold as silk, and gathered his clothes. Tell me, Chief Gu, what do you want from me? Gu Lingqing looked at him and examined Su Jiran. He squinted his eyes and said directly, if you divorce Baiya, I can not only keep your position as the deputy director, but also make you the director. He, using a wife to exchange for an official position. It seems that I made a profit by marrying Baiya. Su Jiran said with an evil smile. You don't like her anyway. Don't you? Gu Lingqing said coldly and arrogantly. But others like her. I have a bad habit. If others like something, even if I don't like it, I will take it for myself. I like it so that others can't get it. When I think about how they feel when they can't get it, I feel good. Su Jiran said in a strange tone. As long as I say it, you will be completely finished. Do you believe me? Gu Lingqing said coldly. Of course I believe you. But I like challenging things. Just let me be finished. Let's see if I will also finish you. In addition, I don't need you to say anything. I am here to resign today. Hee. Su Jiran chuckled, pushed the door open, and walked out. Gu Lingqing frowned. He always felt that Su Jiran's identity was not as simple as it seemed. When Su Jiran came out of the health bureau, his phone rang. He saw the caller ID and got into his car. He smiled wickedly and asked, Is everything arranged? Those people are at your disposal. In addition, I know something about Gu Lingqing. You should be very interested to hear it. Hee, tell me. Don't keep me in suspense. I don't have much patience. Su Jiran started the car and drove out. Let's talk when we meet. At noon, Baiya returned to the office after the surgery. She did not sleep well last night. She was resting on the table when her phone rang. She saw that it was Su Jiran and quickly picked it up. See you in 10 minutes at the Blue Mountain Cafe near the hospital. Su Jiran said and hung up. Baiya quickly picked up her phone, grabbed her bag, and went out. Soon, she arrived at the Blue Mountain Cafe. She looked around and did not see Su Jiran, so she called him. I'm here. Where are you now? Baiya looked around and asked. The second private room on the second floor. Come here. Su Jiran smiled. Baiya went to the second floor. The light in the private room was very dark. There was a candle on the table. The shape of the candle was made to look like a rose. On the other hand, elegant music was playing from the rose-shaped speaker on the wall. The atmosphere in the private room was very romantic, but it was not suitable for them. Sit. Su Jiran nodded and glanced at the seat opposite him. Baiya sat down. She did not want to reminisce with him, so she said directly, I have the video of you and Xing Jinyan having sex. Chapter 80. Baiya was very calm. There was no emotion in her clear eyes. She looked at Su Jiran indifferently. My business has nothing to do with him. I don't like him, so don't mix my business with his. Su Jiran curled his lips and examined Baiya. Are you protecting him? Or are you afraid of me? I'm really surprised that I'm so strong in your heart. I'm just being honest. You can't see a person clearly in 4 years, let alone 1 month. I still know what I want, Baiya said rationally. It's good that you can think that way. I'm warning you, don't fall in love with Gu Lingqing, because he won't fall in love with you. He loves someone else, Su Jiran said with certainty. Baiya looked at him with drooping eyes. There was no expression on her face, but there was some tiredness in her brows. Let's talk about our business. Once I release this video, you're completely finished. What's finished? Su Jiran asked in return and took a sip of coffee elegantly. He was too calm and collected, so calm and collected that it was terrifying. Your political future, isn't it? As a married man, you had that kind of relationship with another woman. Or, do you want to see the video before you give up? Baya opened the video on her phone and passed it to him. Soo-jiran glanced at the video. It was half an hour long, and it was taken after he came out of the police station last night. There was a sharp glint in his eyes. You installed a pinhole camera in the bathroom. Baya looked down, her long eyelashes covering the glint in her eyes. The pinhole camera was installed by Xing Jinyan. However, she didn't want to ruin his relationship with Xing Jinyan, so she took the blame. Divorce, Soo-jiran. You know that the video you have about Lu Shuang is also about His Highness. Just like how you won't easily upload it online, I won't upload it either. I just want a peaceful life and won't affect your future, Baya said softly. Ha! Soo-jiran put the coffee cup on the table, and the coffee in the cup almost spilled out. Didn't Gu Lingqing tell you? I quit. Do you think I'm afraid of your videos? Baya was stunned and said in shock, you resigned. Soo-jiran tapped the table lightly. Is it strange that I don't even look up to the deputy director of the health bureau? Baya suddenly felt as if he had been splashed with cold water from head to toe. She saw that she was about to be freed and had put in a lot of effort, but in the end, she was just a clown in front of Soo-jiran. He felt wronged because he had already done his best. Tears quietly flowed from her eyes, but they were terrifyingly empty. Soo-jiran, if there is a next life, I don't want to know you again, and I don't want to fall in love with you. Baya put away his phone and stood up. Stop! Soo-jiran shouted, frowning at her. Her tears seemed to touch the softest chord in his heart. Why are you crying? Soo-jiran asked confusedly. Baya smiled. She shouldn't cry. What's the use of crying? It can't solve any problems. People like you won't understand the life of people like us. I don't think I owe you anything. If you think it's not enough, I'll use my life to pay for it. At least, I can get the freedom of my soul, Baya said coldly and walked towards the door. Soo-jiran held her arm, and his eyes narrowed. He looked at her pale face. What do you mean? Baya took a deep breath and looked at Soo-jiran. He was good-looking, but he had the heart of a devil. I feel so tired. Maybe it's because I did too many wrong things in my previous life, so I'm destined to not be happy in this life. I don't need you to remember me, but you'll always owe me. In your next life, you won't have a good life either. Baya shook off Soo-jiran's hand. He held it tightly and didn't let go. Baya was numb from the pain. She looked at him coldly. Why do you have to divorce me? I can give you a comfortable life and enough money. Isn't that enough? Even the identity of Mrs. Su is yours. You've gotten more than Xing Jinyan. Do you want to die? Soo-jiran didn't understand. The money I need isn't given by others, but earned by myself. I use it with a clear conscience. The marriage I want is loyalty. I want comfort and peace of mind. When I go home, I feel warmth, not desolation. Baya smiled. People like you won't understand. You won't even love. Then will you? You keep saying that you love me, but you're with Gu Lingqing. Is that your love? Soo-jiran tore apart his usual elegance. He was finally angry and revealed his true emotions. If I didn't love you, why would I be so sad? Every time I saw you with another woman, every knife cut into my heart. My heart used to only have your name, Soo-jiran, on it, but you cut it all off, turning me into a person who doesn't know how to love. What do you think? Do you think I'll still love someone now? No, I don't even know the meaning of living now. Baya was also very emotional. The veins on her neck were all popping. Even she felt that she looked very ferocious. Su Jiran looked at Baiya blankly. The women I'm with are willing to share me with other women. They won't be angry or sad. They're like sisters. Baiya really didn't want to say anything more. Su Jiran would never understand how he hurt her. Maybe she shouldn't have given her feelings. She turned her face away. She thought that she wouldn't cry, but when her psychological defense was broken, she couldn't control her tears. She cried all the tears that she had been suppressing for the past 3 years. Go find other women. Baiya wanted to laugh, but she couldn't. She shouldn't blame Su Jiran. She should blame herself. It was she who fell in love with him. All he wanted was to play in the world. She wanted to keep her dignity at the last moment. Su Jiran stared at Baiya. There was a faint pain in his heart. He didn't want Baiya to die. Divorce. I agree to divorce, Su Jiran said in a low voice. Baiya looked at Su Jiran in surprise. Her eyes were red and swollen. She couldn't believe that he actually agreed to divorce. But I have a request. You must see me twice a week. Each time, it's not less than 3 hours. But don't worry, if you're not willing, I won't touch you. There are a lot of women who are willing to let me touch them. I don't have the patience to deal with you. But when I call you, you must come to the place I specify, Su Jiran said in a low voice. He didn't know why he made such a strange request. Maybe he was worried that he would never see her again. In this way, he could still see her twice a week. Chapter 81. Baiya looked at Su Jiran in disbelief. You're really willing to get a divorce? I have to be on call, Su Jiran added. What if I'm at work? Baiya still found it hard to believe. He had agreed to the divorce so suddenly, and she hadn't even succeeded in threatening him yet. I'll look for you when you're not at work, Su Jiran said in a low voice. How long do you want it to last? Baiya asked immediately. You don't have the right to negotiate with me until I'm tired of it. Of course, you can also choose not to get a divorce. Su Jiran's lips curled up, but his eyes were desolate. You'd better agree, because I don't really want a divorce now. Yes, I agree. I'll go to the Civil Affairs Bureau to get a divorce now. I can leave with nothing. I have the household register with me. Baiya agreed immediately. Su Jiran felt an indescribable sense of loss in his heart. He walked in front. Baiya seemed to be afraid that he would regret it, so she followed behind him. Su Jiran went back to the villa to get the household register and the marriage certificate. It was eerily quiet in the car. The closer they got to the Civil Affairs Bureau, the more he realized that he didn't want a divorce. After they divorced, she would marry another man, become another man's wife, cook for other men, and give birth to other men's children. The more he thought about it, the more uncomfortable he felt. You won't get married immediately after the divorce, will you? Su Jiran asked coldly. No, Baiya said with certainty. Su Jiran looked at Baiya. She was gentle and quiet. The sunlight fell on the side of her face. Her beautiful appearance made his heart throb and ripple after ripple. Actually, Baiya was very beautiful. That was why he had decided to marry her instead of Xing Jinyan the first time he saw her. He just didn't expect that she was worthless in Xing Bachwan's heart. What if I say that I won't play with women in the future? Do you still want to divorce me? Su Jiran asked. As soon as he asked, he felt annoyed. If that was the case, it would make him seem a little petty. He had always been arrogant and conceited. Just kidding, Su Jiran added. After saying this, he regretted it even more. Maybe Baiya would agree not to divorce. He had blocked all his avenues. After a while, they arrived at the Civil Affairs Bureau. He followed Baya up the stairs, feeling an inexplicable panic in his heart. In the end, he wanted to show his good side. You don't have to leave with nothing. I'll transfer the ownership of the house you're living in to you. I'll give you another $1 million. You can live a better life. No need. You didn't steal your money. You picked it up from the ground. Baya refused. Sujiran locked his eyes on Baya. He hoped that at this time, Baya would ask him for an exorbitant price. That way, he would feel better. She could also destroy his noble and elegant image in her mind. However, she didn't. She didn't want anything, not even the compensation for the loss of her youth. You're so stubborn. For you, there's no benefit at all. Just take it if I give it to you, right? Sujiran quickly walked to her side. Baya smiled. We always look at problems with our own eyes, but we never know what others want. Thank you for your kindness, Mr. Su, but I really don't need it. Mr. Su's distant way of addressing him made him feel really uncomfortable. Sujiran handed the marriage certificate to the window. He wanted to be very straightforward and indifferent. He said, "We want a divorce. Do you have a divorce agreement?" "No, I want to leave with nothing," Baya said softly. The staff looked at Baya strangely, and then looked at Sujiran. Baya looked very clean. She didn't have any makeup on. She looked soft, but her eyes were a little red and swollen, but her expression was calm. As for Sujiran, he looked like a naughty ruffian. He frowned and felt a little annoyed. He looked at the marriage certificate, and there was a part of his heart that was twisted so tightly that it hurt. He didn't want a divorce. He didn't want a divorce. He didn't want a divorce. His heart and mind kept repeating this thought strongly, but his body seemed to be resisting it. He couldn't move. The staff handed over a few forms and reminded, "Sign on the form. Think carefully before you sign it. Once you've signed it, you'll get the divorce certificate in half an hour. You'll have nothing to do with each other anymore." Baya got the form and wrote her name on it without hesitation. Sujiran saw that she signed it so quickly. He had a strange feeling in his heart. He also wrote his name on the form. Baya handed the form to the staff. Sujiran hesitated for a moment. "Are you handing it over or not?" The staff asked Sujiran. His mind was blank. Without thinking, he handed over the form. He saw the staff stamp on the list. Bang, 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 bang. Each sound fell on his heart. He and Baya really had nothing to do with each other anymore. "Do you want to go for a drink? It'll take some time to get the divorce certificate anyway," Sujiran said to Baya softly. Baya shook her head. "Pay before you go for tea," the staff said. "Okay. How much do you want?" Baya said and took out her wallet from her bag. "I'll pay for it," Sujiran said. He took out his black card from his wallet and handed it to the staff. The staff rolled his eyes at Sujiran. 10 yuan. Baya handed the 10 yuan to the staff. Sujiran felt uncomfortable in his heart. Only then did he remember that he was very generous to the women outside. He bought bags, luxury cars, villas, jewelry, and accessories, but he had never bought anything expensive for Baya. The most expensive thing was probably the rose that he had thrown into the trash. Oh yes, he had bought her a dress, a pair of shoes, and a pair of earrings. They were not worth much. Would Baya wear them in the future? "The invalid marriage certificate and divorce certificate are here," the staff said. Sujiran came back to his senses. He looked at the divorce certificate and felt uncomfortable in his heart. It's so cheap to get a divorce. No wonder so many people get divorced. It should be more expensive. The staff was too lazy to care about him. Baiya looked at the divorce certificate and felt like she was dreaming. She was finally divorced. She was finally free. She put the marriage certificate and the divorce certificate in her bag and walked out. Sujiran wanted to stop her, but the words were stuck in his throat. He threw the invalid marriage certificate and the divorce certificate into the trash can and walked out. In the car, he smoked a few cigarettes. He remembered the first time he met Baiya. She was still a student. When she walked out of the school gate, she was wearing a sky blue dress. She was beautiful, and every step she took was like a lotus. However, she had a sense of alienation and innate pride. Because of this pride, he chose her. Half an hour later, Sujiran picked up the invalid marriage certificate from the trash can and opened it. In the photo, Baiya frowned slightly and pursed her lips. However, her eyes were clear and full of hope. She was lovely and charming. Every facial feature was so beautiful, but he lost her. Chapter 82. When Baiya returned to the hospital, Lu Shuang was in her office. When he saw Baiya come back, he ran over worriedly. How did it go? Was Su Jiran scared? Baiya smiled. He divorced me. Really? Lu Shuang was very surprised. His eyes were sparkling. Baiya nodded. It's true. We went to the Civil Affairs Bureau in the afternoon to get the divorce certificate. From now on, I'm free. That's great, that's great. Lu Shuang held Baiya's arm and jumped up happily. Baiya was happy too. She pursed her lips and smiled. Let's go out to celebrate today. We'll celebrate you being single again, Lu Shuang said happily. Not today. I want to go back and have a good sleep. Baiya yawned. Yes, go back and have a good sleep. I'll leave the celebration for the weekend. I have an operation in the afternoon, so I'll go back first. Okay, I'll lie down for a while. I have an operation at 16 p.m. too, Baiya said. Maybe it was because she had cried for a long time, or maybe it was because she did not have a good rest. Her eyes were a little sore. Lu Shuang playfully made an okay gesture and went out. She thought about it and wanted to tell Gu Lingqing the good news. But she was also a little hesitant. Should she tell him or not? Lu Shuang held the coin and said to herself, if it's the side with numbers, I'll tell him. If it's the side without numbers, I won't tell him. She threw it with her eyes closed. The coin landed with a crisp sound. She opened her eyes and watched the coin roll. It rolled under the table. Lu Shuang was speechless. She moved the table away and found a few coins under the table. Lu Shuang was speechless. When did she drop so many coins under the table? Forget it. Even if she didn't say it, Gu Lingqing would know. Why not do Gu Lingqing a favor? It was decided happily. She called Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing answered the call. Well, Baiya and Su Jiran divorced. She got the divorce certificate, but don't look for her today. She didn't sleep last night. Also, don't tell anyone that I told her, Lu Shuang said. Gu Lingqing raised the corner of his mouth. Lieutenant Colonel Shang heaved a sigh of relief when he saw the bureau chief smile. When the bureau chief was unhappy, the people around him would most likely suffer. I understand. Thank you. Gu Lingqing's tone softened a lot. However, Baiya has her own thoughts. She's stubborn, so take your time. There's no rush. I'll keep an eye on her for you. If a love rival appears, I'll inform you immediately. Come on, Lu Shuang cheered him on. Yes, Gu Lingqing replied. As soon as Baiya got off work, her phone rang. She saw that it was Su Jiran. She hesitated for a while before picking up. What's wrong? Baya asked uncertainly. They were divorced now. She was a little worried. It wasn't a good thing. Didn't you say that you'll give me 2 days a week and 3 hours a day? You're off work now. I'm still at the Blue Mountain Coffee near your hospital. The previous private room. Come over, or I'll pick you up, Souljourney said lightly. Baya really didn't understand Souljourney. He suddenly agreed to the divorce. In the past, she wouldn't be able to see him even once a month. After the divorce, she saw him more often. I'll come over myself, Baya said, not understanding. She went to the Blue Mountain Coffee and went into the original private room. There was only Souljourney in there. He was playing with his phone. Baya sat opposite him. What do you want to drink? Souljourney asked. Baya shook her head. I haven't rested well for a few days. I'm a little sleepy. I don't want to drink anything. Then sleep for a while. Souljourney nodded and glanced at the sofa. Baya frowned and looked at him defensively. Souljourney smiled and tapped his fingers on the table lazily. He said confidently, if I want to do anything to you, you won't be able to resist even if you're awake. I said I won't touch you, so I won't touch you. Baya thought about it and realized that he was right. She really couldn't open her eyes. Anyway, she had to wait for 3 hours. Instead of looking at him awake, she might as well sleep quietly. She lay on the sofa and closed her eyes. She was too tired and fell asleep after a while. Souljourney looked at her faint figure. He took off his suit and covered her body. He started to deal with official business. Mr. Su, the Gu family is also competing for the land at Qingshui Wharf. They want to connect Qingshui Wharf and Blue Sky Bay. Souljourney curled his lips and typed. Then we'll fight for the land. He wants it, but I won't give it to him. Okay, I'll bid for it then. I'll give you the price later. Souljourney typed. He texted Xing Jinyan. See you at my house in 3 hours. I have a gift for you. Mwah. Xing Jinyan quickly sent a message over. Souljourney's eyes remained cold. He sent another message. Wrap my divorce certificate with a diamond necklace. The kind that costs around 10,000. Okay. Souljourney looked at Baya. She slept very soundly, her breathing was very light and quiet. She was beautiful in her sleep. She looked prettier without any makeup. He picked up his phone and took a few photos. He chose one and used it as his screensaver. His eyes paused for a moment before he deleted it. Baya's phone rang. He furrowed his brows and took out Baya's phone. It was Lu Shuang's. He pressed the volume button and sent a message. What's up? Little Bai, didn't you say you're back to sleep? I see you're not at home. Lu Shuang was puzzled. I'll be back later. Souljourney replied on behalf of Baya. He put Baya's phone on silent mode and put it in her bag. Baya woke up. She remembered that she was still in the private room. She sat up and saw that Souljourney was still sitting opposite her. What time is it now? Souljourney bent his arm and looked at the time, 10:05. You've slept for almost 5 hours. Then I'll go back. Baya put his clothes aside and stood up. Souljourney handed her a box. Take it. What? Baya glanced at the box. She did not want to take it. I owe you a jade bracelet from last time. I was going to give it to you, but my mum took a liking to it. This one is better than the one from before, so take it. Souljourney said casually, a devilish smile on his face. Baya was wary of Souljourney, who exuded masculine hormones. Men gave women clothes so that they could easily take them off. Men gave women jewelry so that they could bind their fragile hearts. The more valuable it was, the heavier the shackles would be. No need. I don't need it. She walked towards the door. Souljourney frowned. The more she did not want it, the more he wanted to give it to her. He took out the jade bracelet, held by Ye's hand, and put it on. He put it on and left. She took off the jade bracelet and put it in the jewelry box. Chapter 83. Ye chased after Souljourney. He drove away. She chased after him. Souljourney went back to his villa. From afar, Ye saw Xing Jinyan standing at Souljourney's door. She saw Souljourney coming back and went up to him. Souljourney lowered his head and kissed Xing Jinyan's lips. 15 seconds later, he hugged Xing Jinyan and returned to the room. Ye's eyes drooped as clear spring water flowed in them. It was not appropriate for her to return the jewelry to Souljourney now. This was more like a demonstration to Xing Jinyan. To her, all she wanted was a peaceful and quiet life. Pretty lady, are you getting off the car? The taxi driver looked at Ye strangely and asked. It's okay. Let's go back. I'll give you the address, Ye said calmly. Hey pretty lady, are you here to catch me in the act? Look on the bright side. Which rich man isn't a playboy? As long as you can secure your position as the legal wife, it's fine as long as you don't fall, the taxi driver teased. Ye did not say anything. She looked outside. The sky was very dark. There was no moonlight at all. Perhaps it was because it was going to rain soon, so it was gloomy. An hour later, Ye got off the taxi and saw Gu Lingqing. He did not go up. Instead, he opened the window and looked at the window of her room. He held a cigarette between his slender fingers. The light from the cigarette but flickered on and off, illuminating his pitch-black eyes, flickering on and off. Ye did not know what to say to him. Perhaps he noticed her gaze and looked at her. A glimmer flashed across his eyes. He put out the cigarette, opened the car door, and stepped out of the car. Where did you go? I called you but you didn't answer. I sent you a message but you didn't reply either, Gu Lingqing said. You called me. I didn't hear it. Ye took out her phone from her bag and saw Gu Lingqing's name on the screen. There were also 2 messages. One of the messages read, "Where are you?" The second message read, "I'm coming to get my Russian book." That was 4 hours ago. Ye felt guilty and said apologetically, "Have you been waiting here for a long time? Why don't you go up and sit?" I sent a message to Lu Shuang. She said that you weren't at home and that she would call me when you came back. She didn't call me, so I waited here, Gu Lingqing explained. Ye lowered her eyes and turned around. Come with me then. I'll return the Russian book to you. Gu Lingqing looked at her indifferently. His heart felt like it was shrouded in a misty rain. It was wet and uncomfortable. I heard that you're divorced. Gu Lingqing glanced at her and asked gently. Okay. Ye pressed the button for the elevator and stood there quietly. Gu Lingqing held her hand. She pulled her hand out of his palm. What's wrong? Gu Lingqing asked in confusion. Ye didn't know what was wrong with her either. Her rationality had clearly told her not to have anything to do with Gu Lingqing, but her heart was moving closer to him. Have you eaten? Ye looked up and asked him, changing the topic. Gu Lingqing frowned slightly. Not yet. I haven't eaten either. There should be some ingredients in the fridge. I'll make you something to eat, Ye said gently. Gu Lingqing looked at her coldly. She was standing very close to him, but he felt that she was very far away. He couldn't figure her out. The elevator arrived with a ding. Gu Lingqing walked in first. Baiya also walked in with her head lowered. She stood at the edge of the elevator, keeping a safe distance from him. Gu Lingqing's expression turned cold as he watched the elevator go up floor by floor. He held her arm and pulled her to his side. His hand gently wrapped around her waist. The temperature of his palm was very high, and it passed through her clothes to her skin. Baiya's back was stiff as she looked straight ahead. I've sent the documents issued by the military to your hospital. I'm asking you to submit the application form in 3 days. I specifically asked for you, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baiya didn't say anything. She frowned slightly. In fact, she didn't really want to go. Gu Lingqing waited for a while, but she didn't answer. He looked at her and said, I can protect you in the military. You don't have to worry or be afraid in the future. Can I come out normally in the military? Baiya asked. You just need to apply for it. You're a doctor, so you'll get special treatment. But sometimes, you'll have to work overtime. The soldiers have sudden training at night, so there are more unexpected situations, Gu Lingqing explained. Can I not go? Baiya asked softly. No. Gu Lingqing was very decisive. He saw that she was unwilling and seemed to have a lot on her mind. Most importantly, she refused to say anything. Am I so unworthy of your trust? Gu Lingqing said coldly. Of course not. Is that so? Gu Lingqing asked in return. With a ding, the elevator door opened. He pulled her out and pressed her against the wall. He leaned over and kissed her soft lips forcefully. Baiya was shocked and pushed his shoulders. Her strength was as light as a feather to him. He kissed her even more deeply and didn't let her reject him. In fact, when he saw her just now, he seemed to have done so. Baiya knew that she couldn't reject him. She was no longer an innocent little girl. She had done everything with Gu Lingqing. If she rejected him now, it would seem unreasonable. She didn't push him again, but she didn't respond either. He only let go of her when she was panting from his kiss. I don't know what's going on in your mind. Since you've already divorced Su Jiran, you should consider our relationship carefully. I'm not young anymore. It's time for me to get married. What do you think? Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. His body was pressed tightly against her, and his breath landed on her face. He was usually overbearing and arrogant. Gu Lingqing, I've just gotten divorced. Do you think it's appropriate for you to get married now? Moreover, your parents know my identity. Baiya reminded him. They can choose not to accept it, but they don't have the ability to object. No one can stop me from doing what I want to do. All right, let's end this matter here. Let's go in. Gu Lingqing stopped before going too far and nipped all her objections in the bud. Baiya realized that she really couldn't defend herself when facing him. She opened the door. Lu Shuang saw that Baiya had returned. Gu Lingqing was behind Baiya. She immediately picked up her bag and said tactfully, Baiya, it's good that you're back. I've invited my friends to play mahjong all night. I won't be back tonight. Lu Shuang, Baiya shouted. She didn't want Lu Shuang to leave. Chapter 84. Baiya was helpless. She walked to the fridge, opened it, and glanced at the ingredients inside. It was a little. Why don't we cook it? Hurry up. Baiya took out instant noodles, ham, lettuce, eggs, and tomatoes from the fridge. Gu Lingqing followed her to the kitchen, took the lettuce, and began to wash it. Baiya looked at Gu Lingqing with a very rational gaze. If Gu Lingqing wasn't the chief, his father wasn't the high and mighty deputy commander, and his mother wasn't the boss of one of the world's top 100 companies. They were just ordinary people who met each other through blind dates, had a smooth start, and after 2 years of dating, and then entered into marriage. Maybe he really was an ordinary man. Chang Chang was a suitable husband candidate. Bai Ye put water in the pot, turned on the fire, and prepared to wash the tomatoes. Gu Lingqing took the tomatoes and washed them. I will be very busy from tomorrow onwards, and may not appear for a period of time. You can handle the military application first. If there is any urgent matter that needs to be solved, call Lieutenant Colonel Shang. I will tell him, and he will deal with it, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. He didn't look at her, and he washed the tomatoes seriously. Okay. Bai Ye responded, opened the oil pot again, and prepared to cook scrambled eggs with tomatoes. Gu Lingqing took her spatula, broke the eggs into the pot, and began to stir fry. You know how to cook. Bai Ye saw that his movements were very skilled, and was quite surprised. With his identity and background, there was no shortage of nannies at home, and now there were orderlies taking care of him, so he didn't look like someone who could enter the kitchen. I used to be the class monitor, and I won the second prize when we competed in culinary skills. Gu Lingqing put the sliced tomatoes into the eggs, added salt and sugar, and simmered it slowly. I thought you would have an important position after you entered. After all, your father's position is there. Bai Ye was honest. Chang Hao and I both entered the special military region for training. Gu Lingqing's eyes dimmed, as if he was hiding some great pain, and then he said lightly, later, Chang Hao was admitted to the Air Force University, and now he is the leader there. Are you all free-range? Bai Ye asked casually. Although we're supposed to raise them freely, our subordinates all know about our identities and backgrounds. Naturally, we'll improve quickly. You don't need to say it out loud. If we have a baby, I'll probably take care of it, Gu Lingqing said softly. Bai Ye's face was slightly red. She didn't dare to look at him. The water is boiling. She opened the plastic bag and put the instant noodles inside. Then she put the lettuce and sausages inside. Lu Shuang said that he won't come tonight. Do you need me to stay here tonight? Gu Lingqing suddenly said. Bai Ye was shocked. His finger touched the edge of the pot and was scalded. She withdrew her hand. Gu Lingqing's heart ached for her. She held her hand under the tap and rinsed it with water. Sometimes you seem very rational, but sometimes I feel that you're actually quite reckless. You can't even take care of yourself. I think you'd better not do anything and just sit and wait for the food. Gu Lingqing's words warmed her heart. She even had an urge to be with him. There was a voice in her heart that told her to give it a try. Anyway, she didn't want to fall in love again, and she didn't want to get married again. The worst result was that they wouldn't be together. She was divorced now. It wouldn't affect him badly, right? But what if Gu Lingqing was just impulsive? When he didn't love her anymore, she had already lost her heart. What should she do then? Her mother's tragedy was right in front of her. And she was too boring, too cold, too boring. She was afraid that he would get tired of her soon. It seems to be ready. You can eat now. Bai Ye withdrew her hand. Let me do it. Gu Lingqing said. He divided the noodles into 2 halves and put them into a big bowl. Then, he put the cooked tomatoes and eggs into 2 bowls. He took the bowls out. Bai Ye took a pair of chopsticks and handed him a pair. Gu Lingqing lowered his head and sucked the noodles. Bai Ye unconsciously looked at him. She really didn't expect that she would be with Gu Lingqing. She still remembered the first time she met him. He was cold, distant, resolute, and had an aura that kept people away. He was very cold, making people feel like they were looking up at a god. It was not easy to get close to him. Gu Lingqing looked at her and met her eyes. Bai Ye paused. Since her eyes were caught, it would seem deliberate if she looked away. "Why are you looking at me? Aren't you going to eat?" Gu Lingqing asked. "I think it's a little too much. I want to ask you if it's enough." Bai Ye found an excuse. "Eat first. If you can't finish it, give it to me," Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Bai Ye realized that he would eat the leftovers. Ripples appeared in her heart. She lowered her head and ate the noodles. After he finished eating, he leaned back on the chair and picked up his phone to send a message back to give instructions for tonight's work. Bai Ye was also embarrassed to let him eat the leftovers, so she ate all the noodles. He was still busy working. She went to the kitchen to wash the dishes. She just put the dishes into the cupboard. He hugged her waist from behind. His strong and powerful arms were like iron pincers, bringing with it an explosive sense of power. Bai Ye straightened her back. He kissed her on the cheek. She was so nervous that she couldn't say a word. The window reflected their shadows, entangled together. "Do you want to do it here or in the room?" Gu Lingqing asked in a low voice, as if he was suppressing some kind of emotion. She realized that he meant it that way. She didn't want to think of the things they did in this kitchen every time she cooked. Room. After saying that, she wanted to bite off her tongue. She fell into his trap. "Is there a third choice?" Bai Ye asked awkwardly. "Yes, the sofa," Gu Lingqing answered her. He carried her up and walked to her room. Her room was very clean. The quilt was neatly folded, and the books on the bedside table were also neatly placed. He put her on the bed, put a pillow under her butt, and slowly moved closer to her. Bai Ye let out a breath nervously. She regretted giving it to him so impulsively. After the first time, the second time, and the third time were all reasonable. If she rejected it again, it would seem unreasonable. Moreover, when a mature man and woman reached a certain age, it was easier to ignite not their feelings, but their bodies. He kissed her, slowly moving to her neck, unbuttoning her shirt, and his large palm moved up her slender waist. At this moment, Gu Lingqing was like a volcano. Wherever he went, he could melt all living things. Bai Ye only felt hot, and her little nose was densely covered in sweat. His masculinity, strength, and clear feeling strolled into all her senses. Bai Ye didn't dare to make a loud sound. It was as if there was something in her that she couldn't control. In the end, he lowered his head and kissed her on the lips. He didn't take a shower, and she didn't move either. She closed her eyes and rested. He hugged her waist from behind and pulled her into his arms. With a sexiness that didn't disappear, he said in a low voice, "I don't want to leave tonight." Chapter 85. In the morning, when Bai Ye woke up, Gu Lingqing was no longer by her side. She saw that there was a note on the table. "I have something to attend to in the military. I have to leave first. Breakfast is on the table. If it's cold, heat it up before eating." Bai Ye looked at the note left by Gu Lingqing and smiled. His handwriting was strong, which matched his tough image. His handwriting was also beautiful. He didn't hide his sharpness, and it was very powerful. She stuffed the note into the Russian book. Perhaps she was very far away from Gu Lingqing now, but she was making progress every time. Learning from him, understanding what he knew, and loving what he loved. Perhaps they would have more topics to talk about, and she would be able to spend more time by his side. Bai Ye got up, brushed her teeth and washed her face. When she walked out of the room, she saw the xiaolongbao, tofu soup, shumai, and youtiao that Gu Lingqing had placed on the table. She took a sip of the tofu soup. It was still warm. There was a knock on the door. Bai Ye walked to the door and opened it suspiciously. Xiong Dani swung her hand and slapped Bai Ye's face. B*tch, did you make Jiran resign? Xiong Dani said angrily. Bai Ye's eyes shone sharply. She didn't think that Xiong Dani had the right to hit her and scold her. Su Jiran resigned because he deserved it. They had hurt her far more than she had hurt them. Bai Ye slapped Xiong Dani on the face. B*TCH, who are you calling? B*TCH, I'm calling you. Xiong Dani blurted out. Bai Ye smirked. Sorry, my family doesn't welcome you. Xiong Dani realized that she had been tricked by Bai Ye. She said sarcastically, you thought you could hook up with Gu Lingqing, so you forced my Jie Ran to divorce you. Let me tell you, it's impossible. Gu Lingqing has already agreed to marry Xiaoling. They will be engaged very soon. Bai Ye paused. Gu Lingqing was still at her place last night and bought her breakfast in the morning. How could he be engaged to Su Xiaoling? If there's nothing else, I'm going to eat breakfast. I won't see you out. Bai Ye went to close the door. Xiong Dani pressed on the door and said disdainfully, do you really think that Gu Lingqing likes you? He just sees that you're lonely and pitiful, so he wants to play with you. Anyway, you're a cheap slut who doesn't want money, and you're somewhat good-looking. Are you saying that you won't be cheap if you ask for money? I don't agree with your values. Also, when you belittle and slander others, you're actually destroying your character, Bai Ye said bluntly. What a glib tongue. Let me tell you, Bai Ye, you'll still have a chance to cry in the future. I can make you cry today. Do you believe me? Xiong Dani threatened. You want me to cry and beg for mercy? Will you change your decision? Bai Ye asked in return. She chuckled as if she had already seen through it. Since it's impossible, why should I beg for mercy? You're going to make me cry anyway. You hurt my son, so I've decided that I won't let you off easily, Xiong Dani said arrogantly. You only saw me hurting your son. Did you see your son hurting me? What's being exposed on the internet is the truth. We're both women. If it was your husband who did those things, what would you think? Bai Ye squinted her eyes and said coldly. Xiong Dani crossed her arms in front of her chest and said sarcastically, that's why I said you're incompetent. You can't control a man and yet you still want to vent your anger on him. Bai Ye, don't you think you're shameless? If you don't look for your own reasons, where do you get the cheek to blame a man for not wanting you? Bai Ye sneered. According to what you said, Su Jiran can't control me because he's incompetent. Where do you get the cheek to question me? How can it be the same? Men are flirtatious when it comes to women. Women are sluts when it comes to men. Xiong Dani roared angrily. Then I'm really sorry. Male supremacy isn't my view of life. If you want to make me cry, go ahead. I just despise you, Bai Ye said and slammed the door. She went to eat breakfast, but she could not eat. Some people clearly told themselves not to care about it and not to be angry. It was not worth it to be angry. However, she was still angry. Bai Ye's phone rang. She saw that it was a call from a stranger and turned it off. The phone rang again. It was the same string of numbers. Bai Ye took a deep breath and answered the call. Bai Ye, I'm Su Xiaoling. Su Xiaoling seemed to be in a good mood as she said with a smile. I don't think there's a need for us to contact each other. Brother Lingqing has already agreed to marry me. When the wedding date is set, I'll send you an invitation, hee hee. Su Xiaoling said to herself. Bai Ye hung up the phone immediately. She went to work without eating anything. She felt uneasy the whole morning. Although she believed in Gu Lingqing, the story of 3 people turning into a tiger always made people anxious. Lu Shuang pushed the door open and came in with dark circles under his eyes. He smiled ambiguously. How did it go between you and Gu Lingqing yesterday? You're the one who told Gu Lingqing that I'm divorced again, right? Baya asked helplessly. She only had one friend, and it was a bad friend of a dumbass. He, Gu Lingqing is so powerful. How can he not know about your divorce? Lu Shuang said ambiguously. The relationship between me and Su Jiran is not over yet. Baya sighed. She was still under the control of others. Lu Shuang's video was in Su Jiran's hands. If he asked her to go, she had to go. She still had to get the video back to be at ease. By the way, I'm here to tell you that the military has sent a document to my father. It said that someone is applying to be a doctor in the special military region, and they specifically asked for you. Gu Lingqing is really manly. All the female doctors except me are envious of him. Lu Shuang said with a smile. There's nothing to be envious of. We don't know whether it's a blessing or a curse, Baya said rationally. Lu Shuang put his hand on Baya's shoulder. What are you afraid of? I'm here. Baya looked at Lu Shuang in surprise. There are two places. My father is the director of the hospital. Plus, I have a special relationship with you, so I'll definitely take advantage of them. Most of them are brave men, and there are many military officers. My father agreed without hesitation in order to promote me. Sister, I'm a good friend, right? Knowing that Lu Shuang was going, Baya felt more at ease. She didn't feel so lonely anymore. So, it was worth her sacrifice for this sister. Thank you, Shuang Niu, Baya said with sincerity. There's no need to thank me. I've analyzed it carefully. First of all, I'm going there to find my ideal partner. Second of all, being a doctor in the special military region is equivalent to being a minor official. I can take the test for a professional title, and the salary is high and the power is great. Third of all, it's an idle job. Most of the time is free. I'm so busy working here. I'll definitely go there. Chapter 86. When Baya was about to get off work, Su Jiran called. She felt annoyed and asked coldly, "What's the matter?" "Meet me at the main entrance after work." "I'm already there." Su Jiran seemed to be in a good mood. "If we meet today, we'll have met twice this week. Tomorrow is Saturday and Sunday. You won't call me anymore, right?" Baya wanted to confirm. "Ha!" Su Jiran chuckled. "Don't worry. I mean what I say. I'll be out in a while." Baya frowned and said. She threw her phone into her bag and left. Lu Shuang walked over. "Where are you going? Aren't you going back with me?" "I have something to deal with. I'll be home in 3 hours." Baya explained. She stepped out of the car and saw Su Jiran standing beside the car. He was wearing a pair of sunglasses and a golden suit. He was extremely handsome, especially with the rose in his hand. He held it out to her and smiled confidently. "This is for you." Baya didn't want to talk nonsense with him. She took the rose from his hand and threw it into the dustbin. "Where are you going?" She looked at her phone and started to count down. Su Jiran looked at her arrogant look and opened the car door. "Get in." Baya sat in the front passenger seat and put on her safety helmet. She took out the jewelry box from her bag and threw it into his storage box. "Weren't you very handsome when you threw the rose? If you don't want the jewelry, you can throw it away too." Su Jiran looked ahead and said. "If you want me to pay for the lost flower, I can still afford it. But if you want me to pay for the jewelry, I can't afford it." Baya leaned on the seat and looked ahead indifferently. "Baya, you're good at everything except that you're too stubborn. You don't know how to judge the situation. You'll regret your current attitude in the future." Su Jiran looked at Baya and said meaningfully. Then you can say that later. She didn't even look at Su Jiran. Gu Lingqing should have told you, right? Su Jiran suddenly asked. What did you say? Bai Ye glanced at him. The date of his engagement with Su Shaoling has already been set. It will be on the 9th of next month. According to Xiaoling's temper, she should have sent you an invitation. Bai Ye looked at Su Jiran in disbelief. Are you guys joking? Su Jiran smiled and turned on the music in the car. From what you're saying, Gu Lingqing didn't tell you. If he didn't say it himself, I wouldn't believe him. You don't have to try so hard to sow discord between us, Bai Ye said decisively. Su Jiran frowned. Why didn't you trust me that much before? Isn't it correct that I don't trust you? Bai Ye said sarcastically. Su Jiran smiled. At least, I didn't lie to you about your feelings and I didn't hide it. If I didn't want you to know, do you think you could easily find out where I am? You just don't want to hide it from me. How can I not know? Bai Ye didn't even want to think about the past. Fine, I'll give you this chance to ask Gu Lingqing in person. Su Jiran drove. Bai Ye was on guard. Su Jiran, what do you mean? Today is my grandfather's birthday. I'll bring you to have a meal. Of course, if you don't want to go, I can let you watch the show from the surveillance room. You don't believe me, right? Since you don't believe me, I'll let you see it with your own eyes, Su Jiran said with certainty. Bai Ye frowned and didn't say anything. She decided to believe that Gu Lingqing didn't lie to her. But if she could see it with her own eyes, it would prove that her belief was not wrong. She believed that Gu Lingqing could give them a slap in the face. It would save her the trouble of people gossiping about Gu Lingqing and Su Shaoling every few days. Although she didn't believe it, it didn't mean that she didn't care. She didn't like to listen to those rumors. It made her heart feel uncomfortable. Su Jiran didn't bring Bai Ye to the banquet hall. Instead, he brought Bai Ye to the surveillance room. Su Jiran's grandfather was the retired deputy director of the Commission for Discipline Inspection. Although he wasn't in the position, he was quite famous. There were many politicians and entrepreneurs who came. Even so, Bai Ye still saw Gu Lingqing, who stood out in the crowd. He was dressed in a black suit with a distinctive totem pinned on it. The golden wheat tassel served as a foil to his valiant and tall stature. Apart from him, Su Shaoling was also there. She was wearing a strapless fishtail dress. She held his arm and stood beside him. A talented man and a beautiful woman. They were a perfect match. Bai Ye furrowed her brows. Today, my grandfather will announce their marriage to everyone. Do you want to ask Gu Lingqing in advance? Su Jiran suggested. He raised the corner of his mouth, which was a bit evil and charming. Bai Ye admitted that she couldn't stay calm when she saw Su Shaoling and Gu Lingqing standing so intimately together. There were a million reasons in her mind to convince herself that they were just ordinary acquaintances. However, ordinary acquaintances didn't need to hold hands. Bai Ye took out her phone from her bag, locked the screen, and called Gu Lingqing. She saw Gu Lingqing take out his phone and take a look. Gu Lingqing didn't answer. Instead, he muted his phone and put it back into his pocket. His behavior had already shown that he didn't want to answer her call now. Bai Ye's heart sank. It was as if a huge rock was pressing down on her. She felt suffocated, and her mind went blank. She put down her phone and stared at Gu Lingqing on the screen. Su Jiran sat on the table in front of her. Bai Ye, I'm thinking, if I played along with him back then and never let you know that I had a woman outside, would you still love me? Bai Ye turned her eyes and looked at him. I want to go to the banquet hall. Su Jiran laughed. You have to think carefully. If you go in and make a scene, not only will Gu Lingqing feel embarrassed, but my grandfather will also feel embarrassed. Men hate it when women embarrass them. Bai Ye looked at him indifferently. Do you think I will make a scene? That's true. You're so cold that it drives people crazy. If you had shown a little bit of care for me back then, I might have turned back a long time ago. Su Jiran stared at her and his eyes darkened. Bai Ye smirked and said sarcastically, never expect a scumbag to turn back. In fact, the rate of scumbags turning back is the same as the rate of me turning back. I already have so many people turning back for me. Why would I care about a scumbag turning back? I wish you the best of luck on the path of not turning back. Don't be too firm with your words. Do things in an extreme way. Only by giving people a chance to turn back can you have a path to walk on. Bai Ye, your EQ is very low, Su Jiran said meaningfully. Bai Ye looked at Su Jiran. Her gaze was a little unfocused. She didn't know what EQ was. When she was in love, there was only one person in her heart and she gave it her all. When she wasn't in love, she wouldn't drag things out. Just like right now, her heart was in pain. She wanted to ask Gu Lingqing face to face. If he really lied to her, no matter how painful it was, she would chase him away from her heart. Chapter 87. Su Jiran, do you think you have a high EQ? Bai Ye asked. You loved me too, didn't you? Many women loved you, and many women were hurt by you. If there is retribution in this world, then you will die a horrible death in the future, Bai Ye advised. She walked past him and out of the security room. She followed the crowd and entered the magnificent hall. She did not walk directly to Gu Lingqing. Instead, she walked to the corner of the banquet hall and called Gu Lingqing again. Gu Lingqing felt the phone vibrate. He frowned. I'm sorry, please excuse me. He walked out of the banquet hall and went to the private room next door to answer the phone. Xiaoya, what's wrong? Is there something urgent? I'll ask Lieutenant Colonel Xiang to handle it, Gu Lingqing said softly. Where are you now? I want to see you, Bai Ye said softly. I have something to do here. Bai Ye took a deep breath. She felt as if her heart had been stabbed by a sword. And this sword was handed to Gu Lingqing by her own hands. Gu Lingqing pulled the sword out of her heart. Not only was there blood flowing out, but there was also her body temperature. Suddenly, she did not want to ask anything. Even if they were married, she could not control Su Jiran. Moreover, she and Gu Lingqing were nothing. If love needed to be controlled and consumed with emotions, then no matter how strong the love was, it would be consumed in quarrels and conflicts. I heard that you are getting engaged to Su Shaoling. I wish you both happiness. Bai Ye hung up the phone and walked out of the banquet hall. Gu Lingqing was shocked. He opened the door of the private room. The two of them almost bumped into each other. Their eyes met. His profoundness met her cold and cheerless. They looked at each other without saying a word. Lingqing. Su Xiaoling's sweet voice sounded. She ran over and hugged Gu Lingqing's arm. She smiled proudly at Bai Ye and said, I didn't expect you to come. Since you're here, I don't have to call you again. Lingqing and I are getting engaged on the 9th of next month. It'll be held here. Come early on the 9th of next month. Bai Ye lowered his eyes and did not speak. In fact, she was waiting for Gu Lingqing's explanation. However, 1 second passed, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, Gu Lingqing didn't refute anything. She also understood. She nodded at Su Shaoling, turned around, and raised her head to look at Gu Lingqing. When she met his deep, rippling eyes, she also nodded, turned around, and walked toward the elevator. She doesn't seem to care at all. Su Shaoling looked at Bai Ye's proud and aloof back and murmured to herself. Gu Lingqing clenched his fists tightly. The veins on the back of his hands were popping out. His eyes were filled with helpless pain and his brows were tightly knitted. Baya quickly walked into the elevator and pressed the button for the first floor. Her eyes were lowered and filled with tears. The moment the elevator closed, big teardrops rolled down her cheeks. She had her so-called. But what could she do? She couldn't make a big fuss and embarrass others, as well as her own dignity. She couldn't complain or complain. That wouldn't change the outcome. It would only make herself look pathetic and ridiculous. She was the one who wanted to like him. If she could keep her heart, she wouldn't be sad. She had no right to blame anyone. She could only blame herself. Baya walked out of the hotel and squatted under the shade of a tree. She hugged her knees and cried happily. Souljourney stood in front of her. I think you're stupid, silly, and stupid sometimes. Baya didn't want anyone to disturb her, and she didn't want to be seen by someone she hated. Get lost. She let out a muffled sound. Souljourney squatted in front of her and took out a fragrant tissue from his pocket. At least I let you see the truth. Shouldn't you thank me? Thank you for what? Baya gritted her teeth. Thank you for treating me so badly. So as long as someone treats me well, I will easily fall in love with them. At least I didn't lie to you. You know better than me how many women I have. To put it bluntly, the longest they have been with me is 3 months. Your position is firm and unshakable, isn't it? Souljourney looked at her tears. He didn't know what he was feeling. He sympathized with her, but he felt that she was crying for another man. He was upset, as if he was still wearing the green hat. Then I thank you. Baya stood up and looked down at him. She said coldly, disappear in front of me. If Gu Lingqing is that sharp guillotine, you are actually the executioner. And I deserve it. Baya walked forward quickly and waved her hand. A taxi stopped in front of her. Baya got on the taxi. The taxi drove away quickly. Souljourney stood up and put one hand in his pocket. The street lights lit up, elongating his shadow. He wanted to be with Baya. When Baya went back, Lu Shuang was surprised. Xiao Bai, you're back so soon. Have you eaten? No, have you eaten? Baya asked. She went into her room and put the 2 sets of Russian books into a plastic bag. I ate instant noodles. What's wrong? Are you okay? Lu Shuang asked worriedly. I'm fine. I'll go out later and come back after eating. If I come back late, don't wait for me, Baya said calmly. Did you cry? Lu Shuang was getting more worried. Lu Shuang, if you really treat me as a friend, don't try to matchmake me with Gu Lingqing anymore. If there's a next time, we won't even be friends anymore. Baya went out and threw the Russian books into the trash can. She looked at the Russian books in the trash can and felt that she was quite stupid. She clearly knew the difference between her and Gu Lingqing. So, she wanted to work hard to get closer to him. She wanted to do many things that she didn't know how to do and learn from him. Her obsession, her infatuation and her hard work couldn't be exchanged for a man's sincere treatment. Since she would be hurt no matter what she did, she might as well not do anything and live a more relaxed life. Baya turned her face away. She didn't want to get the Russian books back anymore. She walked into the lift and pressed the button for the first floor. She walked out of the estate and into the restaurant at the entrance of the estate. She ordered some dishes. Because her heart was hurting from the depression, she even ordered some white wine. After drinking half a bottle, her head was already dizzy and her vision was blurred. It was said that getting drunk could cure 1,000 sorrows. But it was a lie. Her heart was still hurting and her stomach was still churning uncomfortably because she was drunk. She drank one last mouthful, then vomited and went back to sleep. Tomorrow would be a brand new day. Gu Lingqing snatched the wine glass from her hand, raised it and drank it himself. He pulled out the chair and sat opposite Bai Ye. Bai Ye looked at him. There were many layers of shadows, like a kaleidoscope. She smiled and pointed at him. Gu Lingqing. Chapter 88. Bai Ye slowly fell down and rested her head on her arms. She looked out of the door and said softly, I hate mistresses. Because of them, my mother's marriage was ruined. Because of them, my marriage was ruined. But I have to become the person I hate the most. I don't want it. Bai Ye closed her eyes. Tears flowed out from the corner of her eyes, flowed over the bridge of her nose and into her hair. Seeing her tears, Gu Lingqing's heart felt like it was cut by something. It was very painful. He pitifully wiped away the tears on her face, and his eyes darkened. The matter was too urgent. He didn't have time to deal with it, and he didn't know how to tell her. It was his negligence. Xiaoya, I won't let you be a mistress. I promise. Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. He carried Bai Ye and sent her back. Lu Shuang saw Gu Lingqing coming back with Bai Ye in his arms. Bai Ye reeked of alcohol, and Gu Lingqing didn't look well either. What's going on? Why did Xiao Bai drink so much? Lu Shuang was worried. Gu Lingqing put Bai Ye on her bed and covered her with a blanket. She looked at Bai Ye and said to Lu Shuang, please take care of her these days. Call me if anything happens. Xiao Bai said that if I contact you again, she will break off all ties with me. She doesn't seem to be lying. I don't dare to contact you anymore, Lu Shuang said in a low voice. She saw that Bai Ye was in so much pain. Bai Ye had always been a rational person rather than an impulsive one. She drank so much today and Gu Lingqing said such a thing. She judged that Gu Lingqing must have done something to let Bai Ye down. Gu Lingqing frowned helplessly and looked at Lu Shuang. You can contact me secretly. She won't find out. Lu Shuang shrugged. I'll try my best. Gu Lingqing's phone rang. When he saw that it was Gu Tianhang calling, he frowned in annoyance and walked towards the door. He answered the call and said, I'm coming over now. Lu Shuang looked at Gu Lingqing's back. She had a premonition that something must have happened. Bai Ye woke up at 4 in the morning due to thirst. Because he drank too much yesterday, his head was still hurting. Think about it, in this world, only you can be responsible for yourself. She got up and poured a glass of water. She put some honey in the water and shook it. Then, she carried the glass to the window. The sky was still dark. There was no moon in the sky, only a few sparse stars. Her phone buzzed with a text message. Bai Ye unlocked her phone. It was a message from Gu Lingqing. Are you not feeling well? She looked at the message indifferently, and bitterness flowed through her heart. She did not reply. She blacklisted Gu Lingqing's number. She switched off the lights and lay on the bed. She closed her eyes and felt the pain in her heart. Su Jiran had given her this kind of pain before. She just had to get used to it. One day, she would become numb and the pain would fade away. But she did not know how long it would take. In the end, she did not fall asleep. She came out at 7 in the morning. She had not visited her mother for 2 weeks. She missed her mother. She did not know if her mother had forgotten to ask her to call Su Jiran. Gu Lingqing watched as Bai Ye got into the taxi. He took a deep puff of his cigarette and exhaled a thick cloud of smoke. She did not reply to his message. He had been at the car park the whole time and saw her standing at the window at 4 o'clock. She must have seen the message, but she purposely did not reply. His heart tightened, and countless sorrows flowed out. He put out the cigarette and sent her another text message. Don't read the latest news. Don't listen to it. Don't believe it. I will come to you after I solve the problem. He waited for a while, but Baye still did not reply. Saturday's music station was playing on the radio in the taxi. The announcer on the radio said in a light voice, "We are playing a happy event. It is said that Deputy Chief Gu's son will tie the knot with Deputy Chief Su's granddaughter. They have not even gotten married yet, but the happy event has already been announced to the world. Although I will not have the chance to attend the wedding of these two big shots, I still wish the newlyweds the best of luck. Next, we will play a beautiful song, I Will Marry You Tomorrow." Baye leaned her head against the window and looked at the air indifferently. She quietly felt the pain in her heart flow through her blood and into her limbs. "Brother, Deputy Chief Gu's son is going to marry Deputy Chief Su's granddaughter. Hurry up and buy Gu Corporation's shares. With a strong combination, it will definitely grow," the driver chatted with his colleague. "I don't have to wait for you to say that. Gu Corporation's shares have already risen from 80 to 150. Just wait for the wedding of the century to rise again," the driver replied through the walkie-talkie. "Say, if the bride or groom runs away from the wedding, it will be interesting. I am also waiting, ha 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 ha." Baye listened to their idle chatter. They stopped at the entrance of the sanatorium. Baye paid, walked to the entrance of the sanatorium, and registered. Accompanied by the nurse, she went to her mother's ward. When she opened the door, she saw that Su Jiran was also there. Baye was slightly stunned, and she squinted her eyes defensively. Su Jiran was cutting Bai Bing's fingernails. The good news of Gu Lingqing and Su Xiaoling's engagement was playing on the TV. She remembered that there was no TV in her mother's ward. "Why are you here?" Baye asked. Su Jiran smiled wickedly. "I'm sorry, dear. I went abroad before, so I came to see our mother so late. Don't be angry." Before Baye could speak, she heard Bai Bing say with a smile, "Don't be angry, don't be angry. You are busy with work. It's what I should do. Baye is here. I won't disturb your chat. I'll go out and buy some delicious food. I remember that Mom likes to eat durian the most, right?" Su Jiran smiled, got up, put down the nail clippers, and went to wash his hands. "I'll go with you. Don't you know what to choose?" Baye said and walked out of the door first. Su Jiran followed her out. "Su Jiran, what do you mean?" As soon as they went out, Baye asked directly. "Didn't you say that after the divorce, I should come to see your mother once a month?" Su Jiran said with a smile. "I don't believe that you are so kind-hearted." Baye was defensive. "Then do you think you still have any value for me to use?" Su Jiran asked in return. He looked at her and curled up the corner of his mouth. His smile made her hair stand on end. "Don't come in the future." Baye said, "In case of trouble in the future." "Okay, I'll go and tell your mother about our divorce later." Baye held Su Jiran's arm. That would definitely aggravate her mother's condition. Su Jiran raised the corner of his mouth. "I'm helping you out of kindness. You won't refuse like a fool, will you?" Baye's eyes darkened. She let go of Su Jiran's hand and said coldly, "Thank you." Chapter 89. She felt that nothing good would come out of Su Jiran's mouth. Since nothing good would come out of it, why would she make herself sad? "I don't want to know about people or things that have nothing to do with my life," Baye said resolutely. "It's good that you know. I heard that Gu Lingqing has already given your hospital a document to register you to the military." Su Jiran asked. "You're quite well informed, aren't you? Does Gu Lingqing have a grudge against you?" Bai Yi sneered and walked in front. There was no grudge at first, but he targeted my wife, locked me up in the detention center, and targeted me, causing me to lose my position as the deputy director. I won't forget any of these. Do you think I'll let him go? Su Jiran's eyes turned cold. Let people go when possible. If I were like you wouldn't know how many times you would have died, Bai Yi said coldly. I'll let others go, but they might not let me go. For example, Su Shaoling will also go to the military. Do you think she'll let you go if you go? Su Jiran said with a smile, but it was obvious that the smile did not reach his eyes. Bai Yi lowered her eyes and said with certainty, I won't go. I'm afraid that if you don't go, I'm afraid you won't be able to do your job in the hospital. After all, it's an order from the military. Do you think Lu Shuang's father has the guts to disobey? Su Jiran said with drooping eyes. Bai Yi did not say anything. Su Jiran looked at her, held her arm, and pulled her to his side. What are you doing? Let go, Bai Yi said sternly. Since Gu Lingqing is getting married, don't provoke him, Su Jiran warned with a vicious look in his eyes. I'll make my own decisions. Su Jiran, don't forget that you're just my ex-husband. Legally, we have nothing to do with each other. Bai Yi pulled her hand away forcefully. She went into the fruit shop. Su Jiran didn't say anything else and followed behind her. Bai Yi chose a durian, paid for it, and walked in front with it. Su Jiran stared at her cold back. Something seemed to be stuck in his heart, and he felt very uncomfortable. When had he, Su Jiran, ever lowered his voice to a woman like this? Bai Yi was just a woman he didn't want. Thinking of this, Su Jiran didn't follow them in. He turned around, got into his car, and left. Bai Yi entered Bai Bing's room. Where's Jie Ran? Bai Bing looked behind Bai Yi and asked. He had something to do and left first. Mom, I'll open a durian for you, Bai Yi said softly. Bai Bing furrowed her brows. You quarreled with Jie Ran, right? Xiaoye, Jie Ran is such a good man. You should change your temper. Don't let people coax you all the time, and don't put all your attention on work. Okay, Bai Yi replied with her head lowered. Alright, go accompany Jie Ran. He bought me a TV, and I want to watch it. Xiaoye, don't give your husband too much freedom. Otherwise, he'll let you be free forever. Mom, he's busy with work. I still have to wash your hair and bathe you, Bai Yi said with a smile. It's okay. Jie Ran found me a caretaker today. He'll take care of me 24/7. Hurry up and have a child with him. Oh yes, did you give away your previous child? Bai Bing asked worriedly. Bai Yi lowered her eyes. Then I'll leave first. I'll come see you next week. Bai Yi picked up her bag and quickly left her mother's ward. She walked aimlessly on the road alone, her thoughts immersed in the distant past. She didn't know how many hours had passed as she walked and walked. When she looked up, she was at the entrance of the Special Forces Division. She came here unconsciously. Was she crazy? Bai Yi quickly turned around. Gu Lingqing's car came out of the division. He saw Bai Yi and shouted, "Stop the car." Lieutenant Colonel Shang also saw Bai Yi and reminded him, "Chief, this is a critical time. If you and Miss Bai are photographed." Before Lieutenant Colonel Shang could finish speaking, Gu Lingqing had already gotten out of the car. He held Bai Yi's arm. "Let go of me," Bai Yi said coldly. Gu Lingqing looked at her red eyes and let go of her. He said in a low voice, "Where are you going?" "I'll give you a ride." "No need." Bai Yi saw a taxi coming and waved at him. Gu Lingqing looked at her deeply and pursed his lips. The taxi stopped in front of Bai Yi. Bai Yi was about to open the door when Gu Lingqing held her arm and pulled her forward. "What are you doing?" Let go of me, Baiya said defensively. Gu Lingqing opened the back door. Baiya stood resolutely and didn't want to get in. He held the door handle with one hand and supported her body with the other. If you want to be in a stalemate with me, I'll accompany you. I don't think we can continue our relationship. Baiya frowned and said heartlessly. She looked at him firmly. So you blacklisted my number? Gu Lingqing asked back. His eyes were a little red. He gritted his teeth and his anger burst out. If you don't like it, you can blacklist my number. Get in the car. I don't want to say it for the third time, Gu Lingqing said domineeringly and looked at her sharply. Baiya turned her face away. He kissed her lips. Baiya was shocked and stepped back. She had no choice but to sit in the back seat. Gu Lingqing sat next to her and closed the door. He said in a low voice, "Go to the Southern District." Lieutenant Colonel Shang glanced at Baiya and said uncertainly, "Now. Just go. Don't talk so much nonsense." Gu Lingqing said in a bad temper. Lieutenant Colonel Shang didn't dare to ask any more and drove to the Southern District. Baiya turned her face away and looked out of the window. No one spoke. The atmosphere was strange and depressing. Gu Lingqing looked at her and said in a low voice, "Gu's group is my family's business. You know this, right?" "Yes." Baiya answered and didn't look at him. Gu's was in the silk business at the beginning. When it was in my mother's hands, it started to do real estate business. It was a relatively early company in the 1980s. Baiya looked at Gu Lingqing. She didn't understand why Gu Lingqing told her this. My father had been in an important position for a long time. He once called the director of the Resource Distribution and Management Department and asked the director to sell several pieces of land to Gu's at a low price. In return, the director became the governor. It's normal to use power for personal gain. Baiya was a little sarcastic. Now the governor has fallen from power and is in the hands of Su Jing. Whether to let him go or not depends on Su Jing. Gu Lingqing explained. Baiya understood and her eyes became colder. Su Jing asked you to marry his daughter on the condition that he let the governor go, right? Gu Lingqing looked at Baiya gloomily. His cell phone rang. He saw it was Su Changhao and answered. "Lingqing, the governor died in the police station. Did you do it?" Chapter 90. You just need to tell me. Yes or no? Su Changhao was very serious. No. Gu Lingqing said with certainty, looking ahead sharply. Come to my place for a while, Su Changhao said and hung up the phone. Gu Lingqing looked at Baiya. Baiya didn't know how to face him, so she turned her face away. He grasped her chin, turned her to face him, and kissed her lips. Baiya wanted to retreat and pushed his chest. He let go of her as she wanted, and his eyes were as deep as obsidian. Don't leave me. Baiya's heart tightened. He said it as a statement, with a commanding tone. However, she felt that there was a hint of pleading in his words. Was she wrong? He was the dignified chief, swift and decisive, overbearing and cold. How could he plead? I'm busy now. I'll help you stop a taxi. Gu Lingqing got out of the car and stopped a taxi. Baiya got into the car. Gu Lingqing gave the taxi driver 100 yuan and ordered, "Blue Sky Apartment." Baiya's heart was a little confused. She was not a person who was easily carried away by love. She asked herself. What did she have? Other than a good figure and a little prettier, there were a lot of women like her. She had a bad personality. She was harsh and cold. Why should Gu Lingqing offend everyone for her? She didn't believe that there could be a lot of love in a month. Before she knew it, she had returned home. Baya, have you heard that the governor of our state was assassinated? Our hospital is the closest to the procuratorate, so he was sent to our hospital for emergency treatment. They failed and he died, Lu Shuang said nosily, eating potato chips. Baya glanced at Lu Shuang, wanted to say something, but stopped on second thought and sat on the sofa. Lu Shuang sat opposite Baya and guessed, the place of the accident was the prosecutor's office. Maybe the governor was involved in some kind of bribery, or knew some secrets of others and was murdered. You know about the gossip. Gu Lingqing is getting married. Have you heard about it? Baya asked. Lu Shuang was astonished. She put down the potato chip box in shock. Gu Lingqing is getting married. Baya looked at Lu Shuang seriously. I ask you, and you answer me honestly. Do you think Gu Lingqing will fall in love with me? Or is it that the record is bigger? Do you really want to hear it from the bottom of my heart? Lu Shuang was in a dilemma. Of course. Baya was very determined. First of all, I recently asked my dad about Gu Lingqing's character. His reputation is very good. Other than a girlfriend who died on a mission 5 years ago, he has always been clean. There are no scandals, let alone any women. Secondly, this person is very responsible, righteous, and loyal. He will definitely take responsibility for you after you have slept with him. Thirdly, you said he is getting married. It's so sudden. Could it be that there are other secrets? Lu Shuang guessed. What if there are other secrets? Baya asked and lowered her eyes. It's like this. I think accompanying someone for a lifetime is the longest confession of love. Although sometimes you can't tell if the other person is good or bad in a very short period of time, if you don't work hard, you will regret it for the rest of your life. Lu Shuang looked at Baya's expression. Perhaps many mistresses think that it is true love with a man, so it causes another woman's tragedy, Baya said rationally. Isn't Gu Lingqing not married yet? If it were me, I would face the problem together with him until he gets married, and then I will give up forever. The last sentence of Lu Shuang touched Baya a lot. She had a good impression of Gu Lingqing, and maybe more than a good impression, she liked him. She wanted to work hard. I know what I should do. Baya took her bag and went out. She wanted to wait for him at the military base, but she was afraid that it would cause him trouble. She pulled Gu Lingqing's number back to the whitelist and sent a message. I want to meet you. Where should I go? More than 10 seconds later, Gu Lingqing sent a text message over. Go to the parking lot under Jinjiang International Hotel, C10. Someone will pick you up. Okay, Baya replied. She took a deep breath and got into the taxi. Gu Lingqing put away her phone, and her eyes softened. Lingqing, you must find the murderer who killed Governor Qing. Otherwise, your Uncle Su will think that you did it. Moreover, your wedding with Xiaoling must be held as scheduled. Gu Tianhang paced anxiously in the study. Gu Lingqing looked at Gu Tianhang deeply. Uncle Su will also think that father did it, right? Bastard. Gu Tianhang slammed the table. Would I do that kind of thing? Tianhang, how much do you think Governor Qing told Su Jing? Song Shiyu was a little worried. It doesn't matter how much he said. As soon as Governor Qing died, the recording of my call to him can't be found. Gu Tianhang breathed a sigh of relief. Could it be that Governor Qing told Su Jing where the recording is? Governor Qing isn't stupid. If he revealed the location of the recording, he'd be dead. He still wanted to use the recording to save his life. So, I'm sure that Su Jing doesn't know where the recording is now. Gu Tianhang was very confident. It can't be that you really did it, right? Song Shiyu asked suspiciously. Of course not. How is that possible? Gu Tianhang widened his eyes and said with certainty. I'm just afraid that they won't think so. Song Shiyu sighed. Gu Lingqing curled the corner of her mouth and negotiated. If I find the murderer, you'll allow me to marry Bai Ye. How about that? What are you talking about? I'm being wronged now, and you still want to marry that B*TCH. That B*TCH is Su Jiran's ex-wife. I'll be laughed at. I won't allow it, Gu Tianhang said angrily. Gu Lingqing stood up. Then I have nothing else to say. Anyway, I won't marry Su Shaoling. Don't you dare, Gu Tianhang said angrily. Gu Lingqing turned around decisively. Song Shiyu frowned and held Gu Tianhang's arm. Fine, we agree. Why did you agree? Gu Tianhang was so angry that his teeth were itching. I don't agree. Do you have any objections? Song Shiyu smiled and looked at Gu Lingqing. If you can find the murderer, we'll agree to your marriage with Bai Ye. Gu Lingqing's mood, which had been gloomy for the past few days, finally brightened up. He smiled. Before the engagement, I'll give you a satisfactory answer. He turned around and walked out. 30 minutes later, they arrived at his secret villa. The person who opened the door was Bai Ye. Before she could say anything, he leaned over and kissed her passionately. Then, he spun around and pinned her against the wall beside the door. The kiss was overwhelming. Her breathing was getting more and more breathless. It was too forceful and violent. Bai Ye was almost out of breath from his kiss. She did not know what was wrong with him. However, he was determined to get her, which made her a little moved. Chapter 91. When she came back to her senses, he had already placed her on the bed. He looked down at her rosy cheeks and smiled. Xiaoya, thank you for coming to find me. Bai Ye's heart was sour and bitter. I can't tolerate a grain of sand in my eyes. I'll believe you for now. If one day, you betray me, I'll never be with you again, Bai Ye said with certainty. Her eyes were red. Gu Lingqing replied in a low voice. He lowered his head and kissed her lips. He moved down from her lips to her collarbone. It was very gentle and very meticulous. Bai Ye panted softly. Her gaze became more and more unfocused and she couldn't focus. He picked her up and sat her on his lap. She faced him and could clearly see that they were together. Bai Ye met his burning gaze. His gaze was too focused, as if he was going to melt her. Bai Ye turned her face away in embarrassment. He smiled. He liked it when they were together like this. He kissed her lips again and again, as if he had already said a lot of things unconsciously. It was a little sticky, a little lingering, and a little unclear love lingering in the air. It was more and more, and more and more. In the end, Bai Ye tensed her muscles. Gu Lingqing's panting became even heavier. When he came out, he said, Xiaoya, I like you. Bai Ye's heart throbbed again and again. She really hoped that this love could last for a lifetime. He hugged her and lay down. Bai Ye lay face to face with him and slowly calmed her breathing. He didn't move, and neither did she. Is there anything I can help you with this incident? Bai Ye asked gently. I've investigated the scene. The other party didn't use a professional gun, but a modified one. It's very sophisticated, and it's an unmanned gun. That means that the other party isn't a professional killer. He has knowledge of weapons, but his physical condition might not be good. Isn't there a camera in the prosecutor's office? How did the unmanned gun do it? Bai Ye didn't understand. He delivered a package. The video didn't capture his face. He's not tall or fat, and he was wearing a big coat. Inside the bag was a smoke bomb, which was remote-controlled. There was a surveillance camera attached to the unmanned gun, and it accurately shot Governor Qing, Gu Lingqing said. He sent a smoke bomb, not a bomb. This means that he doesn't want to hurt the innocent. His target is only Governor Qing. Moreover, his anti-investigation ability was very strong. If he did not capture anything, it meant that he might be familiar with the procuratorate and had done some scouting. Also, if it's wireless monitoring, the receiving point shouldn't be too far away, right? Bai Ye analyzed. Gu Lingqing looked at her and chuckled. He tightened his grip on her waist. Your analysis is the same as mine. Bai Ye, you're very smart. So don't say that you're not good enough for me in the future. I don't think you're not good enough for me, okay? His voice rose at the end, soft and gentle, with a hint of charm. Bai Ye's hard heart softened a little. She looked back at him. There's no shortage of smart people in this world. There's a shortage of loyal people. Why don't you give me a child? Gu Lingqing said helplessly, but his eyes were sincere. Bai Ye's eyes dimmed, as if they were covered with a layer of mist. I don't want to use a child to tie you up. I want to use a child to tie you up, Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. Bai Ye looked at Gu Lingqing fixedly. You break up with me so often, and after a few days, you take it hard again. The reason is so strange that it's that you're not good enough for me. Why am I so worried about you? Gu Lingqing said softly. He lowered his head and kissed her on the lips. Bai Ye actually understood. That was because she did not trust him, and she did not have confidence in herself. Let's get back to business. Do you have a direction? Bai Ye changed the topic. Gu Lingqing looked at her helplessly. Why did he feel that she was very likely to fly away? Yes, but I still have some questions that I don't understand. Looking at the clues on the surface, that person is seeking revenge. However, it was clear that Governor Qing had gone in. Why did he make a move at this time? Either someone was afraid that Governor Qing would reveal the secret, so he made a move at this time, or something triggered that person's action, Bai Ye thought. So, Changhao showed me the video of Governor Chang's confession after he went in. There was a shocking incident. Gu Lingqing became serious. What shocking incident? Bai Ye asked. Have you heard of the case of 30 families in Tangqian village and 108 residents disappearing overnight? Gu Lingqing asked. I've heard of it. This was 5 years ago. At that time, it was a hot topic, but the police couldn't find any problems, so it was left unsettled. Governor Qing was the mayor of this city at that time. He said that at that time, the villagers in this village got sick with some unknown disease and committed mass suicide. He felt that this matter would cause social unrest, so he ordered everyone to be buried. However, the mysterious thing was that someone used the public opinion of the villagers to give him 100 bars of gold. Each piece of gold weighs 500 grams. According to the current market price, it's worth 15.5 million, Gu Lingqing explained. Could this be Governor Chang's quibble for embezzling 100 gold bars? Bai Ye asked. The origin of these 100 gold bars can't be found. Because the incident was too strange, the staff of the Inspection Bureau accidentally revealed this matter. It happened to be heard by reporters, and this matter was exposed on the internet. So you suspect that the murderer is related to the Tangqian village incident. I will set off for Tangqian village tomorrow. Because it is an informal investigation, it will be more secretive. Wait for me to come back. Gu Lingqing gently rubbed her face. Seeing that Bai Ye did not refuse, he raised the corner of his mouth slightly. When I investigate clearly and catch the murderer, I can marry you. Ha! My parents promised that as long as I find the murderer, they won't object to us being together, Gu Lingqing said softly. He said it very sincerely. Sincerely. She was immersed in his eyes. She was quite touched by Gulingqing's efforts for her. Although, she still had her guard up and vigilance. I'll go with you. I still have my annual leave that hasn't been used up. If I apply for another day of personal leave, I will have 8 days. Baiya made up her mind. He was really worried about leaving her alone. What if Su Jiran pestered her again? It was good to go with him. At least he could protect her. He turned over and pressed her under him. I'll tell the hospital, and we'll go together. Okay, Baiya responded. He closed his eyes and kissed her lips. Baiya opened her mouth and let him in. She also closed her eyes and climbed to a new peak together. You're tuning into the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.